All right, we are live. Good evening, Demon Phil Comics More New Jersey here with another episode. It's our second episode of Unscripted, and we've got quite a crew with us here tonight. Going to have a lot of fun, go over some stuff. We might even talk about comics every once in a while. You never know what's going to happen. So as you come into here, if you'll let us know that you can actually see and hear us fine, and if you'll go ahead and share this out and let everyone know over in Facebook land that they can find us over here in YouTube, where we don't give a damn because we're not censored over here. Haha. In fact, yeah, definitely don't care. We're all having fun over here. So if you can see and hear me, let me know. Wait just a couple of minutes to go ahead and get other people in here and make sure that we're able to get shared out and everything. And hope everyone's having a great evening, had a great day today. Did something productive. If you didn't do something productive, at least do it right. It's all good. It was actually a good day for me. Got quite a bit done. I even put out my schedule for next week for all of the reviews and the interviews. So I don't know if you saw that or not, but that is a full week that I've got coming up. So I'm looking forward to that one. All right. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to bring in, let me go ahead and get this banner off here real quick. As you come in, if you will, please share this out. Let people know what's going on over here. Bring your friends. We're going to have a lot of fun with this. All right, so let's go ahead and start bringing some people in here. Right now, I have got Eve is sitting back here right now. We'll bring her up. It just looked like the perfect time to go ahead and bring her up. She wasn't ready for it.
Hey guys, good evening. My name's Eve. I'm sorry, I was dancing in the background and I hit my foot against the closet door and I collapsed. So here I am for you guys. I'm ready and I'm excited for this.
Here's the king of clowns, Jim Noble.
Episode 2. All right. I thought it was 3, but I guess we're only at 2. So, hey, I love that number. You know, it's better than 1, but not as good as 3. So here we are. Greetings from Podcastville. We are at episode 2. We've made it 2 episodes so far. We haven't been canceled yet. Hashtag me too. Hashtag let's get this party started, motherfucker. Yeah. Also, before you say anything, Phil, I want to give a shout out to Alfred Lay, who did this lovely woman that I'm fingering right here. You can see her on the tip of my finger. Here, yeah, I got a bottle.
Really unscripted.
I got a bottle that I could shove up her ass too. That. So
don't do that. It breaks.
Logo right there.
Don't do that. It breaks. It's not a fun time. I don't recommend it.
Episode 2. I am so happy to be here, and I am excited for tonight. Tonight is a phenomenal night with so many amazing guests that I don't even know if I'll be able to handle all of them.
You can't even handle 2.
Yeah.
Well, don't tell that to my girlfriend.
with an intro, with an intro like that, let me go ahead and make sure. Okay, the guests are still back here. I just want to make sure they didn't take off yet. We've been on here, you know, since the inaugural one and everything. So the 3 of us have been up here. We've had a couple other people kind of, you know, pop in, whatever type thing. Now we've got a couple other people who wanted to jump on here, and they may be sorry about this later. We may be sorry about them being here. I don't know. It's going to be fun either way. So first off, let's go ahead and bring in Russell.
Does anybody else find it scary how natural it is for Jim to keep doing this? I mean, the first 5 minutes of the show, Jim nonstop is just.
Sam Kennison taught me well.
I mean, how do you follow up with that?
Dude, I love rock and roll.
And then he's over there rocking the shocker, you know, 2, 3.
That's how I count on my hand. I got 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh,
Yoda. Yoda won.
Well, before I forget who else we've got back here, because I'm laughing too damn hard, we have got David Fott is here as well, and he wanted to go ahead and join us. Again, he may be sorry about this later, or we may be sorry about him being on. I don't know. Either way, it's going to be fun.
I'm joining the group. Here we go. What's he going to do for episode 4? I'm laughing with you.
No, I can do my Naruto hand sign.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, yeah. You don't want to see what I see. You don't want to see what I do for 6.
What? How do you even do that?
SIX.
Okay, I'm just going to sit back on this one. Just do this the whole podcast.
The 6 is the double shocker.
Yeah.
The morning waker upper.
It's like you're doing the Naruto hand sign.
Yeah, through Maxwell House. That's really a way to wake up in the morning.
Hey, I'll drink to that.
Just when you get to work, don't
David
tell
and
somebody
Russell,
to smell your face.
thank you for joining us.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
they
glad to
fit
be here,
in.
man. It's gonna be a blast. Yeah, I'm in my land. Yeah, in my group.
Well, I've been looking forward to this because Russell and I have had a lot of interaction in a lot of other groups. We'll put it that way. Not shocker interaction. I just want to go ahead and clarify that right now.
I don't know. I just want to know why this guy keeps showing up on my newsfeed.
Dave, I've seen a lot of your stuff and decided I had to get you on here.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I was, we've been talking ever since we did the ASSN. I think that's what his thing. And yeah, I'm glad we got together and talking and everything. Yeah, So I'm ready.
Absolutely. Now, I will say that the only person that's here that probably doesn't know about the pantsless thing is David.
Oh, crap.
There will actually be an official reveal next week.
Hey, look, she's a popsicle. Hey, left hand, right hand, left hand. There we go. Yeah, now she's a popsicle.
Jim, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, Jim is showing. He's got the finger up the girl over there on the side.
There you go. It's because of the sausage on the pizza.
That is the pantsless pizza logo right there. Nice. But there is more to it than that. So we'll be going over that.
Just don't order mushrooms on your pizza because you might get whelps.
Your grandfather's having a stroke.
I swear, the next time Jim starts licking that up there, I'm going to replace it with a different picture.
Oh, no.
Oh, it's only been 8 minutes. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Hey, my dad likes to so I got to be good. I got to be in my best behavior.
Yeah, my sister's kind of in the room too, so I'm sitting here going. So I got to kind of behave too. I'm like, okay.
Nah, screw behaving. We misbehaving. It's unscripted. If they don't know, they can't be here.
If it gets too much, she'll join in. So she'll be like, okay, scoot on over. She's worse than I am.
I can do now. I know with the way the streaming and everything, I can have 6 people on here. The problem is every time I do, it ends up knocking someone off here. Usually I'm the first one to go.
No.
So I'm trying to keep this at 5, maybe 4, depending upon how well it's working type deal.
Yeah.
So we may have to kind of bounce around whenever I start seeing it lagging or something on there. So I'm just kind of watching that. But 5 is the maximum I want to go with on here at one time.
That's what she said.
Is it?
What did you say, Jim?
Where do you watch this?
Wow.
Hold on, let me speak into my microphone.
Can you speak up?
Jim has it going in his head 24/7.
Phil's already lagging.
He's lagging just a little.
Oh, God. You're broken.
It seems like it's lagging a little.
Hey, Phil, who's in the comments right now? Let's give him a shout out.
Giovanni, Larry.
Oh, really? My buddies, my pals.
Yeah.
Oh God, it got awkwardly quiet.
It did.
What's happening?
Yeah. Yep. Comments has got Larry and Giovanni over here. Yes.
Yeah, we know.
I can't see the comments.
I can't see the comments either, so
Oh, okay. Whew,
I'm looking at him.
something's going
Yeah.
on.
I'm on my phone, so like, you know, I miss out on
Yeah,
all
I
the
see the
fun
comments
shenanigans.
now.
So I get that iPad here. It's kind of. I thought maybe something was like not right, but good since nobody else can see them. I'm okay.
Yeah.
Ooh. And like he's like jumping all over the place. He's like a magician.
Yep. Oh, apparently we can have 5
Yeah, I
people.
got it on my screen. I can see no problem on there.
So, oh boy. Yeah, we're about to lose.
We're about to lose
Yeah,
Larry.
apparently.
Phil, you gotta fix your internet connection, man. You gotta stop downloading the files I send you.
All right, I'm still here.
I think he's downloading a little bit more than that, and that's the issue. Here's story time. I was at school, and I'm using the computer as normal, and I think I go to an a site that I thought was going to be part of my research, but it was bugged. And the virus that popped up was one of those viruses where they pull up the porn website right behind it and say you have to call so-and-so number. And I'm there because it's a whole computer lab filled with students. And I'm freaking out. I'm like, Hulk out. Here, I'm going to piss people off. It's clobbering time.
It's better than being pissed on.
Damn, Russ, when did you paint your face? You look good, buddy.
Hey, you know what's worse than writer's block? Trying to type with these hands.
Oh no.
He don't even know about what's hard. I mean,
Oh no.
typing. Ugh. I'm hanging out with Jim too much.
Oh god.
These kind of hurt to put on.
That's what she said.
Don't. God. You mother.
Oh my god.
Phil is doing something with a hand.
Don't let me have to pull out mine.
Cool, okay.
Oh well, if we're pulling out headwear, I guess I could get my Chinese basket hat on, and I could do some impressions.
Jim, how about you show us your gimp mask? How does it work? Do you have a zipper here, or?
It's the sideways zipper, not the horse.
These clothes are atrocious. I regret my decisions.
Yeah, I got to keep drinking. So, Phil, do you have any wonderful questions for this lovely panel we have here tonight?
Yeah, it's definitely lagging on me quite a bit here now.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
Maybe you should use your phone. Maybe if you were on your phone, it'd be better.
Okay, he's liking really bad.
He's going to reply to that in like 20 minutes from now.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Will be over, and we'll be like, okay.
First question.
I am on my phone.
You are on your phone. Man. You really need to stop saving those files I sent you. I get that they're totally rad, but seriously.
It's all those pantsless pizza orders rolling in. Those extra sauces just clogging up the internet.
Clogging up the internet.
So
never eat chicken pot pie.
Let me see if I drop one, if it'll go ahead and correct it a little bit.
But never eat chicken pot pie without pants, especially when it's fresh out of the microwave. I've never felt like a cave woman more in my life.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
Well, no.
Oh, man.
All right, is that correcting?
Deleted. I'm sorry, Eve. What was that? You've never felt
There you
more
go.
like
All right, that's
what?
correcting. Okay, so yeah, I can only have 4 at a time. I can't have 5, so we're gonna have to kind of pop back and forth.
Okay, that's fine.
Eve, I
Okay.
apologize. I had to kind of bump you there for just a minute. Yeah, because it was like I was answering and y'all were sitting there for 20, 30 seconds, and then I'd notice, oh, okay, you finally heard me. What do you know?
Now we can hear you good.
I'm sure Eve is like sending you a dirty message on Facebook right now. To you, like, you motherfucker.
It wouldn't be the first time.
don't you cut me off the air. This is my time. Wait, Phil, can you see her backstage?
Yeah, I can see her.
Oh,
What does she do? Does she look happy or does she look mad?
She is like flipping me out. I mean, she's flipping me off something fierce back there. She is all kinds of throwing middle fingers all over the place.
All right, I'll tell you
I
what.
just see her now with angry Mickey Mouse hands, just waving them in the air. You motherfucker!
Woohoo! I'll tell you what. You can. I'll step out. You can put Eve back on because she was in the middle of a story, and I'll keep drinking my beer, and then I'll come back when I'm more in character.
All right, hang on. Let me go ahead and bring her in. Hang on. All right. Eve, I was trying to figure a way to bring you back in while you were dancing over there because that was kind of cool that you were doing it, backstage like that.
Nah, thank God you didn't. Because I probably would have hit my foot too, and I would have really hurt it. Man, what was my story? I don't even remember the note I left off on.
Oh, you left.
You said
off
don't
on
eat
the pot pie coming out of the microwave. You said you've never.
I've
felt
never
like a
felt
cave woman
more
before.
like a cave woman in my entire life than sitting in your old emo band shirt, have not taken a shower, sitting like this because I have to. I don't know, and just eating Marie Callender's chicken pot pie with the nasty turkey bites in it. It's not even chicken pot pie; it's turkey pot pie. And you bite them and you spit them out because they're like disgusting. And then that hot sauce fell on my thigh, and I looked like a Renaissance painting. Man, I was screaming.
Ow!
That's terrible.
No, ow!
Yeah.
I wish that everyone else could see what I'm seeing over here because I see the backstage.
Oh no!
And Jim is he's reenacting everything that she's saying as she's doing it.
Oh geez.
That was for Jim's gonna do it.
That's probably how I come back on here in a minute. Let's be going.
Jim, if you can hear me flash backstage,
Oh God, I'm glad we can see that.
No, do not give him ideas back here. I'm the only one that can see him, and I don't want that kind of therapy.
Hey, Eve, Phil's going to have to hire you with those Mickey Mouse hands because those will work great for carrying pizza pans.
There's a story behind these Mickey Mouse hands, and I had mentioned it in my last live, I think. But I was a marching band. I was a band geek. And they have a tradition for the seniors that are graduating. They have a senior night to sort of give a spotlight to all the seniors, whether you're on the football field, cheerleading, or the band. And so we have this little party, like a potluck, and you give your seniors a gift. So all of my underclassmen gave me, oh boy.
Oh no.
Boy.
Phil dropped it. Wait, Phil, we lost Phil.
Phil.
I was literally just mocking you, Eve. Wait, shit.
Did he flash backstage?
Oh no,
There he
he's
is.
gonna lag.
I'm still here.
Master lagger.
Nope.
But here's the story to the Mickey
I'm still
Mouse
here.
hands. The Mickey Mouse hands. I have this allergy to whatever chemical they put in the grass on the practice field that we had, so I would swell up like a balloon, man. And it was most evident in my hands. My hands were fat, and it was an issue each and every time I went out. So while everybody was enjoying their lunches, I was eating lunch. Not even eating lunch. I just had my hands dipped in a tub of Epsom salt.
Oh.
And people were taking pictures of me and laughing like, ha 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 ha. And they would feed me too because they felt bad. so my underclassmen got me these gloves because that's how my hands looked like. We had an ongoing joke. Oh, yeah. You know, I think I have like a little picture. Nah, I'm not even going to show a picture of me in marching band. I was brown, dude. I am pale. I'm pale compared to what I was in marching band. I was as dark as the chair that you're sitting on, Phil. I was that dark. I tan very well. And I think ever since this whole thing started, I'm just like, this is the lightest I've ever been. And I feel naked without my skin color. See, I normally look like Russ. I normally have your skin complexion, but I used to be out in the sun. Like my campus was open grounds, and I'd have to walk back and forth. So I was dark.
Yeah, that's kind of like I lived on a farm, so I had like Russ's color back in the day. And ever since I became an artist, I'm this lovely shade of pale because I'm working so much.
Dude, I don't know. I feel uncomfortable. Yeah, David, the first thought that popped into my head when you came in is that you kind of look like Tyrion Lannister. And I mean that in a good way, from Game of Thrones. I mean that in a very good way.
The beard mustache, like I had like a beard down here, and like I shaved it because like I shave it to like get rid of it for a while so it grow back even again. And like I have like a long beard and mustache and everything. I shaved it right before this.
Nah, you look like his when he had like just a little bit of stubble. I just see it in the eyes.
Nah. I get tickled people like when they say that like I grow out my beard. Like people's like, you need to like cosplay as Mark Hamill like right now.
People have told me I should cosplay as Domino. I've gotten multiple messages.
Oh yeah,
and that's
good.
The one thing I wanted to do for Halloween is that I wanted to dress up as 80s Starfire, but there's a particular panel where she's wearing a t-shirt that says I love Gar, we love Gar, and like sports shorts and leg warmers, and I had the feelers for it, and I would just have to buy 2 wigs and sew it together. Man, nice. I couldn't cosplay Niobe. I don't look like a 2000s model. I can't wear lowrider jeans. I give the illusion that I am somewhat fit by wearing high-waisted jeans that hide my pooch. I can't cosplay Niobe with the cute bra top and the mini skirt. No, I would definitely look like a Florida woman.
I probably wouldn't look good that way either, so I understand.
Yeah, Domino I could probably do, but I can't do Niobe.
Pull that off easily. Oh yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, I mean the actress is Puerto Rican. I learned that recently, so hey, common ground, woohoo! But what was the other thing that I had thought about? I thought about Starfire. There's Domino.
Oh
and, yeah. God, I forget. You don't see a lot of tan-colored characters. And that's not a gripe, you know? People make what they will, but there's not a lot of tan-colored characters out there. And that's just my preference. Like, for me, I want to pull off the cosplay as best as I can.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't want to, like, I don't know. It's just a personal thing for me. People say, yeah, but you can cosplay as anything. And I'm like, oh, the other thing was Bulma, but, like, from Dragon Ball Bulma. When she was like a teenager.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I mean, I could kind of pull it off.
Yeah.
And I have a little brother that I can put in like Goku's first outfit, like the blue strong thing that he had.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that would be perfect.
I couldn't cosplay as anybody. I think like I could probably do Mark Hamill. Like if you saw me with a full beard mustache, you could see that why people say that. People's always say like if I draw out like the beard mustache, I could do David Harbour too from Stranger Things.
Oh yeah.
I thought about doing that actually, like getting the cop uniform and everything, and getting the patch from the town they're in and everything, and doing that.
Yeah.
But I might do that.
I could probably pull off the penguin. So I mean, if you dress up, I could.
That would be fun, actually.
Yeah.
That'd be a blast.
You know, I personally want to see more ugly, female monstrous characters, and I guess that's. Yeah, I want to see some. I think this is just might be a task for me to do because I haven't seen it. I want to see a female anti-hero that turns into that isn't anything special, but that turns into something horrifying. But she uses her abilities to help the better good, but everybody's so terrified of her that that she's just labeled as a villain, even though that she rescues people. That's what I want to see. I might have to do that.
Cool. That'd be a cool idea. That'd be a comic you might have to think of, like kind of planning out and having somebody writing it or something.
Yeah, like so you see so many characters like demonesses. You know, demons are supposed to be ugly. They have a beautiful facade, and then when they turn into something, they look like actual monsters. So, I mean, I would like to see somebody take on a succubus, but actually make it horrifyingly ugly because they're not supposed to be sexy as a demoness.
Have you seen I think it's the movie. Is it Tales from the Dark Side? The actual Tales from the Dark Side movie that was out for a while in the 80s, where the guy like married the girl, and like spoiler alert, I'm gonna kind of spoil it for you, but to kind of show your point, like he gets like clawed in the chest by this demon in an alleyway one day, and it's like this really cool like 80s looking demon. And then, like, later on, he's, like, running down there, and he, like, saves this girl from this demon. Well, he goes through, and he lives, like, a long life with her and everything and all, and has, like, 2 kids and everything. So, like, something I forgot is supposed to happen where he's not supposed to say something or mention it or something, and he mentions it. Yeah. And, like, come to find out the girl was the demon.
Oh, man. That sounds like a Twilight Zone episode.
Yeah, but the demon is, like, that was what reminded me of you talking about, because she was, like, really beautiful. But she like starts turning, and like she's this demon, like a gecko-looking demon, and like her kids turn and everything too, like the kids that they had and everything and all, and that was like cursed. But yeah, I like that idea.
I also like want to see somebody take on like these mythical sort of creatures of European legend.
Yes.
But you know, like how they did Morbius. Morbius was like a vampire. That's exactly what I envision, have the facade, but when you turn into it, it's absolutely grueling and ugly. I don't mind the sexy rendition or the really attractive rendition. Makes the character more alluring, and therefore they cause many more tragedies. But I want to see something ugly. Like maybe if somebody writes a story, again, it might have to be me, about the Jersey Devil, but it's a woman fallen to circumstance, and she's ugly, and she just becomes an anti-hero the same way Spawn did. That's what I want to see.
I love the story of the Jersey Devil. What is it, the Jersey Devil, the Mothman?
Mothman, that'd be another cool one. Dude, yeah. I'm terrified of the possibility of running into the Mothman more than I am of the Jersey Devil.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, the Mothman, UFOs follow him and all that shit. I'm
like
terrified.
Like, supernatural, like, attaches to him and everything and all. And that's always been, like the thing I want to do, I'd like to do right now is, and I've talked to Chris about it, because we've actually got something coming on. We're going to do the 7 Deadly Sins. I'm going to do pinups of girls of the 7 Deadly Sins.
Mm-hmm.
And she's going to have, like, a little essay wrote about them, and I'm going to draw them out, and they're going to be very risque, and everything. But I want to do kind of like what she was talking about. I want to take and do like the Alluring Women, but I want to take and base them.
Gluttony would be amazing to draw.
Yeah, that's why I was like, oh yeah. So I want to do like Sorry, my camera's acting funny. I want to take and do like like.
Hey, real quick, I'm
Japanese
just gonna let you know.
moss.
I'm gonna switch myself out for Jim and go ahead and bring him back in here real quick.
Bring
Wait,
him
we want
back
to hear
in
this
here.
interesting story behind the Deadpool.
Yeah.
Ah. I'm back.
All right, you can
Woo!
go backstage now. I just needed to see you for
Hello.
1 second. Go back.
Oh man, I was just about to go get another beer.
You came ill prepared.
I've been mocking you this entire time. It was the best performance of my life so far.
I talked with
That's
my
not
hands
what she
a
said.
lot.
Yeah.
So,
Sounds very familiar.
David, you're a comic book maker, correct?
I am a comic book person.
Okay.
I draw them. I know a little bit about them.
You draw them.
Yeah.
How do you feel about sexy clowns?
Oh boy.
Here it is.
What is it that they call that? Was it Rule 23, 32?
34.
34?
34. Yeah. Sexy clowns don't bother me. They honestly don't. I hate to say it, like, I love Pennywise. Have you ever seen like the girls dress up as sexy Pennywise?
We used to sell at the store I work at. We sold the corsets and the tutus for that. Like they're really cute.
Gosh. Oh, that'd be amazing. Well, I have a friend of mine. Her name's Sammy Taylor, and she works at the Haunt in St. Louis, Missouri. And she does that. She'll make like a sexy clown, and she's actually called one. She's got one called Mr. Jingles, which is amazing. But yeah, to answer your question, yeah, they don't bother me. What about you? Do they use?
I specialize in sexy clowns. I actually half my comic book company is based around sexy clowns. I have a clown. Her name is Roxy Fieldgood. She's a breakout star. And let me show you some covers I have.
Oh, show us. Yeah, I want to see it.
Yeah. Here we go.
David, where'd you say that was at the Haunt in St. Louis?
Yeah, it's a Haunt in St. Christy. What was it called? The Darkness.
Oh yeah, the Darkness on a theme park.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
oh wow.
Swing it out of left field.
So we're unscripted. It's okay. And then I got this is the regular cover.
Badass.
And then on my banner over here, that's Roxy Feelgood. She's got the rainbow bow, you know, to hit all the that market right there with the you know, she's open-minded with her sexuality. I also have these wonderful prints, which for those of you viewing, they're available for sale on my web store. Of you know, have fun and wash your damn hands. And it features my sexy clown, and I also did now this is available in masked and unmasked of the she's flipping off the coronavirus, and I have it available in masked and unmasked and with and without boob in and boob out.
You only get one boob. You only get one boob.
One boob. You only get one boob for the price of $20. It can be yours. But yeah, like so I make sexy clown comics, but that's not just my thing, you know. I make a lot of 80s based comics about recovering drug addicts who like to have a good time and also take down drug dealers. And also I have another comic about topless babes from outer space who
yes.
And I also have another one that's let's see. Oh, I have an 80s slasher. You can tell the a little bit.
He's a little out of it.
And actually, in our comments, his name is Giovanni Barunda. He is the creator of my 80s slasher, who is a part of Totally Rad Comics. And I believe I have a cover featuring her. Oh, here we go. It's a perfect cover to show. It's an amazing Spider-Man number 300 cover swipe.
Oh, dude.
Yeah. I love that.
Now, this is available. This is the regular cover. There is a red version where she is topless.
Oh, damn.
Of course, because that's important.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's some awesome stuff, man. I like that. That's stuff I love drawing. I'm into, man.
You should definitely draw some sexy clowns for Totally Rad Comics. I think it'd be a great time.
Yeah, I think that.
I never thought
I'd
I'd do it, but I did it.
Yeah, actually, we're gonna tonight. We're actually gonna be showing Eve's cover set that she did for my sexy clown.
Ooh.
Eve, can you show that? Can you show that right now on your computer, or does Phil have to do it?
Yeah, I think I could pull it up. I just have to go on my Gmail.
You have to exit out all of those porn sites, and then you gotta log in. Hey, I know what you do with that vibrating eraser.
Yeah,
I
burned my skin.
The scary part is I have one of those too, Eve, like the exact same one.
Yeah, I saw this. I was looking at Will Russell's live stream, and I was like, "Whoa, that's cool!" I showed my mom. I was like, "Look at this!
It's so big."
It's so big.
Yeah, well, I got my opinions on that.
Woo!
Now we need somebody else to have one. You guys can have a pretend lightsaber battle on the live show.
Oh wow! You know, I was telling Eve earlier. I said it sucks that you're not 21 because like you could go get some Budweisers and we could pass Budweisers around from video to video.
Oh. I think I just have.
Full of
I think
y'all.
I might have thrown in there. I think that's what I got.
Alrighty, I think I can pull this up now.
We got to pass it to Jim last though, because otherwise we won't get it.
Yeah.
Oh, we do.
That's very true. Are you able to do your fancy thing?
Yes, my lord.
You're like what's that guy? Who's the guy in the Matrix that does all the computer shit? He was a wheelchair guy in Oz. What's his name?
Oh, what was his name? Was it?
I don't know.
Here's one.
He was in Lost. He had a son in
this
Lost.
is the censored one, of course, because she's got these cute little stickers on.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, look at them pasties.
Oh.
Woo!
I try to go for retro wave. Obviously I utilize the colors, and I try to go for this. She's got a bunch of balloons, and you dirty-minded people, they're balloon animals, all of them, just from different angles.
They look like wieners.
They're balloon animals.
That's not what I told you.
They're swords.
No, but you're
Hey,
right.
look,
They're deliberately set up like this because, you know, Jim mentioned his balloon fetish. So
I don't know. No.
How to deliver.
Oh, no.
I think.
Oh god.
Yeah, I'm gonna zoom.
Yeah, zoom in on her
Like her
tits.
face. I think that was my favorite part of this. Yeah. Oh, wait, hold on.
I
can't operate.
Checkup.
Yeah, that's what'll sell a cover right there. I'll tell
There
you
we go.
Woo-hoo. Love it.
I just got one question though. If it's a sexy clown, you honk her boobs instead of her nose?
Yes. I have a cover for that. Hold on, I'll be right back.
And then this is the uncensored version. Of course, the only difference is nipples. Because people are scared of nipples, so you gotta hide them.
I love the Fight Club vibe with the cleaning gloves.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
That's the there we go. That's the honk cover. The honking cover.
Oh. Eve, did we lose you?
Uh-oh. Eve's frozen.
Yeah, I think she's froze.
Phil, trade her out.
Oh.
Phil's back.
There's Phil.
Yeah, did we lose her?
Maybe. I didn't mean to. She was just throwing a sexy clown, I swear.
The nipples
I showed her the honking cover and she quit.
Error 404. Eve has corrupted.
Phil, have you been watching this whole time?
Oh yeah, I was watching from back here.
Oh, okay. Mr. Master Technology over here with the computers and the science and all that.
Master of Technology. I'm just making sure I don't get knocked off my own show again.
For what? Oh, okay. Yeah, I was showing some X-rated covers earlier, so.
So Phil, we're anxiously waiting for the backstory of why you have a Deadpool mask.
Yes.
Well, that's simple. I used to cosplay as Deadpool for many years, probably 7, 8 years, something like that. Back in Texas when I was doing the cons down there. Made my own costumes, made my own props, made my own teleporting harness for it, swords, guns, everything. Painted it all, did it all.
I used to cosplay as Booger from Revenge of the Nerds.
Oh, dude. I can see that.
I know. You know what's real funny? I'll have to show you guys a photo. There is a photo of me and the actor Curtis Armstrong who played Booger, and we both had the same curly hair. It was freaky as hell. It was $20 an autograph, and was worth every penny.
Oh, damn.
He didn't. When I met him, I was so starstruck because I grew up on Revenge of the Nerds. I love that movie. I'm a huge fan of the '80s. And when I shook his hand, I said, "You're the reason why I drink." I don't think he understood. I drink an enjoyment in watching his films. Not I drink because I see you in that movie, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" Like, I guess that's what he thought I was saying. But I was like, "You're the reason why I drink," and he's just like, "Whoa, okay." And then I told the Asian guy from Revenge of the Nerds the same thing, and he was like, "Oh wow, that's awesome, man." The guy who played what's his name? Asian guy. He was a Chinese guy, Japanese guy. I don't remember. He was an Asian guy. He's a definitely cool dude. But yeah, someone told me they're like, "You look like Booger from Revenge of the Nerds," and I was like, "I'll take that. I'll be that guy."
I kind of pulled something dirty on my sister at a con one time because me and my sister, we hang out a lot. We go to Comic Cons together and stuff, and all we're more like friends. But this might be a bad story. I don't know to tell on here, but I'm still gonna tell it. I think it's hilarious. We went to make Jim Lee for the first time.
Yeah.
And I told Christy, I said, now Christy, before we go meet him, I said, he doesn't speak English too well. So you kind of have to talk slow, and everything. And he I said, you just kind of have to talk to him. So like, I'm sitting there, I've known Jim for a little bit.
Yeah.
And before then we talked a little bit on pretty much what I was going to do. And, so my sister walks up, and she's like, "Hello, Mr. Lee. Can I have your autograph?" And he's just looking at her, and just like, and she puts down the comic, and like he like signs the comic, and he just looks at me and goes, "Hey, Dave, how's it going?" "Hey, David, how's it going?" And Chris goes, "You son of a bitch."
I love it.
I do so much awkward moments like that at cons. I love it. So, but yeah, it was great. Yeah. She hated me the rest of the weekend.
Those are the most fun times, though.
Do what?
I said those are the best times.
Oh yeah. Talon Caldwell, that was friends with Jim Lee, he was telling me like all the pool stories that they had. Like they had pool parties at like Wildstorm in DC, and yeah.
I met who was it? Richard. I met MacGyver, Richard Dean Anderson.
Oh my god!
And it was a Star Trek convention, and unfortunately, my dad like brainwashed me as a kid to watch Star Trek and know all this bullshit about Star Trek. So unfortunately, I know a lot about it when I don't want to know a lot about it. Anyways, Richard Dean Anderson was at the show because he was in Stargate, Star Trek. It's got the star in it, so I guess he's going to be a guest at the show. Anyways, I meet him, had a good time, got a photo op. I said, "I love you in The Simpsons." He said, "I wish I could do that for the rest of my life." He'd much rather do voice acting. But so as soon as the photo op was done, my dad stood in line for like 3 hours to get Richard Dean Anderson's autograph on the picture that we just got taken. Like, it's so dumb. Wow. Like, why would you want an autograph of us on a photo of Richard Dean Anderson? Just get a picture of MacGyver. People see MacGyver, they recognize it immediately. They see an old guy with me and my dad. It doesn't make any sense. So anyways, my dad's in line for like 3 hours. I go to the bar because there's nobody at the Star Trek convention other than Richard Dean Anderson that I want to meet. I have no idea who these guys are, and I really don't care. So I get really fucked up at the bar, and it's in like a hotel, back when they used to do cons in hotels.
Yeah.
And So I get trashed, and then my dad comes up. He's like, "I got the autograph from Richard Dean Anderson." I'm like, "Okay, cool, man." And he's like, "Now we got to go to the panel that he's doing." I'm like, "Okay, I'll go to a Richard Dean Anderson panel. Sure, maybe he'll talk about this. I'm a huge fan of The Simpsons, so all I'm thinking is maybe he's going to talk about The Simpsons. I hope he talks about The Simpsons. That's all I care about. I go there, I'm fucked up. I sit there, and literally, Richard Dean Anderson doesn't know anything about panels. He's just like, well, I don't know what else to say, so I'm just going to go ahead and do a Q&A. So if you guys just want to line up and ask me questions, I'm like, okay, cool. So I get to see these guys. They're going to ask him some awesome questions about him being on The Simpsons, because that's all I care about. That's all he's ever done that is the most successful thing. He's not going to talk about MacGyver. He's not going to talk about Stargate. He's going to talk about The Simpsons. This is wonderful. Well, the first question that someone asked him was, if you could go 500 years in the past or 500 years in the future, which would you choose? And I literally sat there and said, what the fuck? But I wasn't quiet about it. And everyone heard me. And then my dad was like, shut up, you're going to get us kicked out of here. Like, oh, God forbid I got kicked out of the Richard Dean Anderson panel at a Star Trek convention in a hotel. Anyway, so I leave. They didn't kick me out. I left on my own will. But I was like, after like the first two questions, I'm like, this is bullshit. They're just gonna ask me dumb questions like, "Whoa, well, what's your favorite scene in MacGyver?" Oh, is that scene like I watched MacGyver? I don't know the episode by heart. In episode 305, when MacGyver has a stick of gum and then he switches out with a paperclip. How did that happen? Like, I don't care. I'm gonna leave, and at this point, I'm pretty much gone. So right now. So I walk out of the panel. And there's literally this poor Star Trek. He was a child star. He was in an episode of Star Trek. I couldn't tell you his name. He was in a TV show called Z Nation. Still can't tell you his name. I walked up to his booth. I said, "Hey man, how much for an autograph?" And he goes, $30. And I said, "That's my kind of price for an autograph." I paid him $30. I turned around. My dad's coming out of the panel's over. My dad's coming out, and I'm waving this print. And it's a picture of Data from the Next Generation of Star Trek and this kid. But you don't see his face. You just see the side of his face talking to Data. So my dad goes, "Who the fuck signed that?" I go, "I don't know, but it was $30." It was the best autograph I've ever gotten to this day, and the best story for an autograph. Like, sure, I could talk about getting an autograph from George Takei and him being a quote-unquote rebel and signing to Jim Noble as opposed to signing to fan, because I guess, like, you know, his handler tells him that he has to do that or whatever. But anyways, yeah, so I don't know where I was going with that, but that's my fun story.
That's freaking cool. I always pull stuff like that. We had a friend of ours that, and this is kind of mean too. He worked for Marvel for a little bit, and he did coloring for Marvel. He did colors for Marvel Comics. And he's like, "Man, I really got to take a piss." He's like, "I got to go to the bathroom." So what happened was, me and him was like, turn up the damn camera. There we go. Me and him was like set at the table for a little bit, and his friend was with him, his handler, you know.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, go take a piss. I'll watch the table real quick. I'll tell him you'll be right back." And while he was gone, his handler was actually signing the autographs for him. Like, they couldn't bring a comic up, and he's like, "Oh, you Gary?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm Gary. How's it going?" You know, and on he was signing the autographs for him.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, dude, that was kind of a dick move, but it was still kind of just a little bit funny. I mean, just a little bit.
Yeah.
But he was doing that and all, and like Gary came back, and Gary, oh my God, he was pissed. Oh man, was he mad? Holy hell, he was pissed at us the rest of the weekend. And but yeah, that was kind of funny. I've got so many con stories. Oh God, I've been to so many.
Yeah.
Past
That's
11
I
years,
think
I've been to cons.
My favorite con story is meeting Glenn Fabry and getting a signature on my
But
preacher
yeah,
omnibus.
there's some of them I can't tell.
Oh shit! He cut him out. He was about to tell the story. I'm sure she's backstage right now, pissed as hell.
There he is.
So the funniest prank I've ever played was on my wife. So we have a station in St. Louis, 105.7 The Point, and every year they have Pointergeist. So it's like a Halloween show.
Yeah.
A few years ago, it was Godsmack and Five Finger Death Punch, and I really wanted to go to it. Well, my wife won tickets, but she's not into that kind of music. She liked country. So she's like, well, take your dad. If your dad's into that kind of music, so you can take your dad. I was like, okay, cool. So we get there, and we were up in like nosebleed seats because they were giveaway seats. But there's a bunch of stuff going on in St. Louis, so they were like, hey, why don't you guys move up? And we're like, okay, cool. So we were sitting like 2 feet away from the speakers, like literally Solierna's right on the stage, riding around on his drums, and because they had wheels on it, and he drove around on the stage while he was playing the drums. It was awesome. But the funny part is the grand prize of the package was you got to meet Solierna and eat with the band on the bus, and there was a meet and greet and everything. So I figured now's a great time to mess with my wife, and I send her a picture. We're like right up there on the stage, and I'm like, man, look, we won the grand prize. We got the front row tickets, and we're going to get to meet the band on the bus and everything. So she's like pissed. She's like texting me, oh, man, I should have never gave the tickets to your dad. So to make it even worse, when we left the show, I had my dad call her on my phone, and I was like, hey, Solierna's here, but you got to answer this question or he's not going to let us on the tour bus. And I'm like, all he wants to know is name one of his songs, which Crying Like a Bitch is one of the newer songs that had come out whenever this concert went on. It was probably like 2015, I guess. And she had heard it a bunch of times on the radio, but she never put 2 and 2 together. So I could hear her loading up Windows in the background. My dad's pretending to be Solierna. He's like, hey, this is Solierna with Godsmack. I just need you to answer this one question. You know, what's one song that we sing? And you can hear her loading up the computer in the background. I told my dad, I was like, she's getting on the computer. She's cheating. I was like, I can hear Windows loading up in the background. Tell her she's only got 10 seconds to answer. So the 10 seconds are up, and I just hang up on her. And so she starts bawling. She's so crying, upset. So her mom lived in St. Louis, and she went up to her mom's to visit her mom while we were at the concert. So we show up at her house, and she's all crying and everything. She's like, I'm sorry. I was like, oh, it was a joke. That was my dad. And she's like, you're an asshole. She's like, do you know what happened? She's like, I'm in there trying to root around and get in the computer. I'm screaming and freaking out. My mom was in the shower. She comes running out of the shower naked through the house going, oh, my God, what's going on? She's like, and I couldn't think of the song. And then I knew you were going to be pissed off at me when you got home because you couldn't meet the band because I didn't know who's singing. I'm like,
oh, my God.
That's the day in the life of living with me. I mean, I do that stuff to her all the time. Like, I hid in the closet one day for like 10 minutes while she was on the phone with her mom. She's sitting on the bed, and I'm peeking through the corner of the door. And I'm like, any second, she's going to get up and walk towards the closet. I got to wait for the perfect moment. So she's just talking away and talking away. Well, finally, she gets up and takes that step forward towards the closet. And I flung that door open and went, blah! And she literally, on a king-size bed, went and did a backflip and fell off on my side of the bed.
Hell yeah.
And the best part is my son does it now too, so he'll hide behind a wall and just scare the shit out of her for no reason. I'm like, yes. I did that once with my dad, and he beat the shit out of me, and I was like, I'll never do that
again. As you can tell, like I know Jim was talking too, that I'm a big 80s kid, and I'm a huge 80s horror movie fan.
Oh, Phil was telling me that you're a big 80s guy.
Oh yeah. So back when my mom was alive, we lived on a 30-acre farm. So we'd have kids out, kids want to watch horror movies back in the 80s. So they'd come to my house to watch them because their parents wouldn't let them watch them.
Yeah.
So we were sitting there one time, and I went the night before, and I found a hockey mask. And it was one of those kind of cheap hockey masks, you know. And my mom, I never thought, I love my mom to death, but she had a heart attack the week before. 5 small ones. And so she's like, man, she goes, oh man, I gotta go out in the car and grab something real quick. She goes, I forgot. And I'm like, all right, here we go. And I went on the front porch and I grabbed the hockey mask and I put it on. And I walked around the back, went out the back door, and came around, and I just go, I had a machete, an old machete. And I jumped out and went, oh, like that. And my mom screams. Now, let me tell you, I'm 6'6". I'm a tall guy. And my mom was 5'2". Okay.
Oh no.
My mom.
Dude, Jim's 6'7".
Her fist and hit me right in the hockey mask and cracked the hockey mask.
Oh shit.
Wow.
Oh
And
my god.
she's like, David, and she's like, you little son of a bitch, get back in the house. She broke that hockey mask.
Hell yeah.
It was hilarious.
I don't
But yeah, so Russ, I understand. We used to pull stuff like that all the time. We still do once in a while.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so you're big into horror movies, right? So
Oh hell yeah.
are you familiar with the Critters franchise?
Oh hell yeah.
So you'll love this story. So back about 6-7 months ago, about 7 or 8 months ago, I was talking to my buddy Sean Gabarine. He's the writer for the Puppet Master books on for Full Moon.
Oh hell yeah, yeah.
And I was talking to him. I said, "Hey man, how did you get to writing Puppet Master?" And he goes, "Oh, I just reached out to Full Moon and said, hey, can I write comics for Puppet Master?" And they were all for it. And I was like, "Wow, it's that easy?" For like, I mean, Puppet Master, Full Moon. It's not really, it's got the big cult fan following, but it doesn't have the comics. The comics took off and everything. So I was like, okay, cool. So I was thinking, I was like, man, I have a huge love for Critters, right?
Oh hell yeah.
Like, so Critters 2 is actually where I got the idea for my Topless Babes from Outer Space story, because I figured, that would be a perfect comic. Because actually, this is the reason why I did this comic book, and you'll learn why I did it was because. So it turns out Critters is owned by Warner Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
I reached out to Warner Brothers. I called 6 different people at Warner Brothers to finally get to the correct department. I literally Googled Warner Brothers costume design, and I went from there and found my way to the movie right owners of Critters, like the department who deals with copyrights and all that stuff. And I said, hey, I'm a comic book creator. I own a comic book company. I would like to buy the license or license out or buy the rights to do the Critters comic book. I want to do a comic book about Critters. And the woman I was talking to, she was like, Critters? She didn't know what Critters was at all. And she looked it up in her database, and she's like, hold on a second, I gotta look at she had the whole Warner Brothers database on hand. And so she's looking it up. She's like, Critters. And so literally the Warner Brothers has a file on Critters that is so old. The files on Critters is literally a 90s file, because that's when the last Critters movie came out through Warner Brothers, Critters 4.
Yeah.
And so she was looking it up. She goes, our files are so old, they haven't been updated into our new system since, because they haven't done anything with Critters since 1992 or 93, whenever Critters 4 came out. With Brad Dourif, who did the voice of Chucky. I think he was the only famous guy in that movie. And Leonardo DiCaprio was in Critters 3.
2 or 3. I think it was 3.
Yeah, it was 3, because 2 is the topless woman, 3 is Leonardo, and then Scott Grimes, who's the voice of Steve Smith on American Dad, was in 1 and 2. But anyways,
hell, I didn't know that.
I'm a huge Critters fan. Yeah, he was the son of the main family
Do you know that?
Yeah.
Christy knew that. I was like, what?
Yeah, Scott Grimes. That's the voice of Steve Smith. He's in Critters 1 and 2. He's the star of Critters 2, and one of the main guys in Critters 1. But yeah, so they're like, well, our files are so old, we're gonna have to. They literally had to look up more information about it before they're like, well, we don't want to say that you can write a comic, so let us look into this more. But also, it's Warner Brothers, and they own DC, so I'm sure DC is gonna want to do something with Critters at some point. Unfortunately.
Really?
So she was like, I'll call you back. And I'm like, okay, sure. Someone from Warner Brothers is going to call me back. And literally, I was like, what's your name and what's your number in case I don't hear from you in this 2-week period? And so literally a week later, she called me back. She goes, hey, we can't give you the rights to write a Critters comic book. I'm sorry. And I was like, okay, that's fine. So because in my mind, I was like, well, if I can't do Critters, I'm going to do a comic book about topless, because this is what I was going to do anyway. about topless bounty hunters who come down to hunt the Krites, but instead it's they're hunting like a lizard type creature, but it was inspired by Critters 2, really.
Nice. That's freaking awesome.
Yeah, like the fact that I got
have
to
like
talk to someone from Warner Brothers about that, it blows my mind. Like,
I love
really?
the idea they actually got back a hold of you. You're like, yeah, they're not gonna call back, whatever.
Yeah.
Like she actually called back. That's freaking amazing.
Yeah, I hope one day I could like write some, because I'm huge into like all the low budget horror stuff, the full moon stuff like that. So like, if I could write any low budget horror, like Critters was number one in my book, because I mean that's like one of my favorites. But who knows? Maybe I'll get lucky.
Does Full Moon still have the comic book properties? Like, do they still do the comic books?
Yeah. So Action Lab originally did the Puppet Master books.
Okay. Yeah.
Full Moon was like, okay, well, Action Lab did their thing, but now Full Moon saw the money bags, and they're like, okay, well, we're going to do comics. We're going to have our own comics. And Sean Gabarine still, like, because he wrote the Action Lab stuff, and he still writes some of the stuff for Full Moon. So that's really neat.
Man. That would be a cool gig, kind of get into Full Moon and do comics with them. Yeah, I'd love that. That'd be my dream job.
Yeah, I met Sean at a horror show here in Texas, Texas Frightmare.
Oh,
and
yeah.
He sold out. He sold out of all the Puppet Master books he had within like the first 2 days, because they see Puppet Master, like, wow, I didn't know Puppet Master was a comic book, and they just buy it up. Like, he's been writing Puppet Master stuff for like at least the last 6 years.
I started saying it's been at least 7 years, haven't it? Because I remember seeing them like, when I got comics. I started to get them, and I couldn't get them. They sold out every freaking time I tried to get one, and I just gave up. I'm like, well, fine.
Yeah. It's hard to get. It's hard to get horror comics, but like Full Moon has their website, so you can get all the new Full Moon stuff that they're coming out. Like they did one for Ginger Dead Man, and they did one recently for the slime bowl around the slime. You know what I'm talking about? The one with Lena Quigley in it, and
I know what you're talking about. I can't remember the name of it though. I know exactly which one.
I feel like you're the only capable of naked chicks. Hey, it's the most memorable scene, because literally in that movie, like there's a scene where the bounty hunter's gonna morph into Freddy Krueger, and then one of the other guys, Charlie was in the character's name. Charlie, who's literally in all the movies, was like, no, like you can't morph into Freddy Krueger. Like also, they didn't own the rights to Freddy Krueger, so like the fact that Freddy Krueger poster was in Critters 2, it's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I just always did like that, like when he morphed, we saw the Playboy, and he pulled the staple out. Yeah,
pulls the staple out of her stomach.
I always thought it was really cool, like back when Playboy actually had the staple, and like I always thought that was awesome. I always remember that when I was a kid. Like I saw movies when I was a kid, like I shouldn't watch. Like I went to the drive-in, saw The Fog, and like Humanoids from the Deep.
Oh yeah.
The ones like that and all and stuff, and also that's what inspires me to kind of do my artwork now. Like I guess that's why I draw the boobs all the time and stuff, and like Humanoids from the Deep. God, it was Saturday the 14th. I saw the drive-in. God, Christy, what else? Prom night. Scanners. Like I was 10, I was at 5 years old, and I shouldn't have been, but I did. And and ever since then, I've been a huge horror nut.
Hell yeah! Like Slumber Party Massacre, the stuff.
Hell yeah! Sleepaway Camp.
Sleepaway Camp 1, 2, 3. I love the Sleepaway Camp series. If you haven't seen it, for those of you who are watching this right now,
yes,
go watch it. It's on Tubi. All three of them are on Tubi right now. It's a free streaming app. It has the entire Full Moon library. It has every single Sleepaway Camp. It has Return of the Living Dead, which is the greatest zombie movie of all time.
Yes.
They have 1, 3, and Necropocalypse, or whatever they call it, but they don't have 2. But that's okay, because 1 is the best. You only need to watch 1. Yeah. But 3 is also good because there's boobs.
Great.
But
3's the Clark one, right?
3's the one with she's got like the piercings and all the glass. And,
Yeah, the Mindy Clark one, that was amazing. I love that one.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, this shit, I could talk all day, man. The horror movies, I like that. And Yeah, God, Night of the Demons, the original
Night of the
Demons,
oh,
the stuff.
Can't get enough of the stuff.
Oh yeah, can't get enough of the stuff, man. Life Force, God. I should not have saw Life Force when it came out when I was a kid. There's no way. Like Jane marched like naked throughout the whole thing, and I'm like sitting here like 8 years old going, "This is a movie."
We should totally do like a horror movie podcast. Like I feel like these two are like, what the hell's going on? They're just going on.
I am a little lost, only because I am a zoomer. You're a zoomer, so your knowledge on these movies is pretty surprising.
Oh, dude, I bet me and Jim we could probably talk 3 or 4 hours on a podcast.
Yeah, because I was like,
Literally.
man, these horror movies went that deep.
Oh my
I'm
God.
sitting here. I don't know. I just haven't been attracted to like the horror genre because as of late it sucks and it's predictable.
Yeah,
there's a lot of 80s stuff that you'll love though.
I probably would. I mean, of the few movies compared to you guys, it's like count them with my hand. But I love Texas Chainsaw, like the remake that they did.
Oh hell
it was the best, like ultra violence. I love ultra violence like that.
Which remake though? Because there's been what, 2 since?
I think there was one in the 80s, one in the early 90s.
Was that the 90s?
I don't know which one.
The 90s one had was.
I think it might have been.
Was 3 that had Ken Foree in it from Dawn of the Dead.
That's right, Leatherface. Texas Chainsaw 3.
2 had the movie poster. The movie poster they had for it was a swipe of the Breakfast Club movie poster. Yes. It's the same exact poses.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that had Sean Mosley as Chop Top.
Yes, that was Bill.
Oh yeah, Bill Mosley. That's right. Yeah, Bill Mosley.
Yeah, and then what was it? Was it the Next Generation that had Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger?
Matthew McConaughey was in the Next Gen. Yeah, then there was Leatherface or the beginning. There's so many.
Yeah, there's so many now. And then like the last one I had was the one where it was like the girl was supposed to be like his cousin or something, and she took over for him and everything. And all I'm like, okay, we're done for a bit.
Yeah.
So
that was awful.
See, there we go. We got that tangent just about that.
I just like the idea. I really want to look more into these movies because a lot of the slasher movies, really the popular ones from like the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, there's this whole idea of like the way these characters are written and the duality, yet the parallels between the final girl and the villain, and the use of like phallic objects as weapons, phallic resembling objects as weapons, and the stunted sexual development of the villain and of the final girl. Like I think it's I find that interesting.
Eve, look up a movie. It just came out kind of recently. It's called The Final Girls.
Okay.
Yeah, it's I feel bad because I haven't seen it yet, and I need to. But it's on that premise of all that. It's like about a girl that her mom played like horror movies, and she was the final girl. And they ended up. Oh man. Wow. They ended up like going into the movie and everything, and like she ends up becoming the final girl. It's weird, but it falls on all that premise and all. So yeah, definitely check it out.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I feel like it's bedtime for me because I have to go. When I wake up in the morning, I have a bunch of work to do. My goodness gracious. Your screen went full screen for a second.
Yeah, that was weird. I was like,
oh
shit, what did I do? Yeah, so that's signed by every single Nightmare on Elm Street cast member from 1 and 2 and 3, except for Robert Englund and Wes Craven.
Oh man.
You got a token on your hand.
Yeah. And you gotta meet Wes Craven, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, not
Well,
Wes Craven, I'm sorry.
yeah, Wes Craven's dead. I can't beat him. I can't beat him until I die. When I'm ill.
Yeah, not anytime soon.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Nightmare on Elm Street fan. That's probably like my favorite 80s slasher, if you'll call it that, because I mean it's a slasher, but also, it's more supernatural.
I really find it more as a thriller, not necessarily a slasher. Slasher for me
Agreed.
is definitely Texas Chainsaw. That I can't. I want to find more movies like that. Because I just like taking from the visuals and like practicing them. I don't want to look up any suspicious images on my computer and then have people ask me. Like, I've told my parents in casual conversation, like, oh yeah, I had to look this up so that I could draw this, and they're like, are you okay? Like,
I had that.
no
I got
normal
that all the
person looks
time.
that up.
Yeah, try looking up sexy clowns for your work.
Yeah.
It's
No,
I had to look
up. I had to look up dominatrixes for like one work because I needed to see like the power stance and the boots. Definitely. I mean, I've searched up some pretty steamy things, and thank God nobody walks into my room while I'm doing that. But I don't know how else to explain it. What is awkward is looking up nude model references, because I do that out of practice. And I hate for somebody to walk in. I mean, I've told the stories. I was one myself. I've had nude model sessions with somebody in front of me, and I had drawn. Those were awkward, especially when it's like a man and his stuff is like right. Okay, can I? I think y'all would be able to see me if I did this. I'm gonna demonstrate what he did,
Oh,
but
no.
not exactly. It's not something crazy. Okay, how far back? There we go. So he laid down and he went on his elbows and then kicked his kicked his legs up and of the thing. I had this view. It wasn't.
Well, I mean,
yeah, and my teacher told me to focus on every line and every wrinkle, and I could pull up the drawings to prove it.
If you want to see a view of some awkward male positions, there was a television series that was on HBO.
You don't have to tell me anymore. I've been there, done that. Like, don't.
There's a television series on HBO that aired. This is pre-Sopranos. This is actually what paved the way for the Sopranos. There's a TV show called Oz, and Christopher Maloney, who you might remember from Law and Order SVU, he was a inmate in Oz, and there's an episode where he's having a feud with his quote unquote boyfriend in prison, and there's a point where they're staring each other down in their cells, and he turns around, drops his drawers, and spreads his butt cheeks, and you can see his butthole. So if you're looking for awkward positions to draw, I can't remember which season it is, but I'm sure if you just Google Christopher Maloney's asshole, I'm sure there'll be like the first thing that pops up. But also for 80s slashers,
right time.
Going back to 80s slashers, if you're looking for like a really good 80s slasher, there's one which is actually a sequel. It is actually the 8th installment of the series. It's called Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes on Manhattan. Now, for those of you who are fans of the film, for those of you watching, you might think, wait a minute, Jason Takes on Manhattan, that's the one where they're on the boat for literally the entire movie except for the last, 3 scenes of the movie. And the reason because of that is they couldn't afford to film in New York except for one day because of the amount of money it cost to film in New York blew their budget, so they could only film the ending of that movie in one night.
Oh, yeah.
And also, there's a giant loophole when it comes to a boat that's in a lake in the middle of America, somehow going from the lake that's not connected to any other body of water to the Atlantic Ocean to get to New York. How that makes any sense, I don't know, but there's a lot of plot holes in that movie. But also, it's a great movie to check out if you enjoy.
My sister was actually born on Friday the 13th, so that's what we collect. So we know pretty much everything about Friday the 13th. And if I want to really piss her off, I'll put on Jason 10, the space one.
Yeah.
And man, she hates that one. She likes any other one, But you put on Jason
Really?
10, you're gonna have a bad. Yeah, she loves all of them. And,
See, like my least favorite's probably 9, because the ending of 9, where the Freddy Krueger's claw comes out and drags Jason's mask in, because it left it open for Freddy versus Jason, but it was also a decade before that movie even came out. Oh, the Prowler's a good one.
Oh, Happy Birthday to Me. That's one of my favorite ones. I saw that in the drive-in too.
Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We heard somebody.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to make sure because I had to put my headset in because after a while when we streamed, for some reason I was getting feedback. Everybody was like reverbing over and over, and it was like really bad. So I got my headset, and then it was working okay. And then like after 2 or 3 minutes, all of a sudden I lost feed completely, like on audio.
Wow.
I couldn't hear anything. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try coming in with my headset on and see what happens. Because like the feedback was so bad, it was just like, hey.
Yeah, that happened to me.
Anymore.
Oh wow. Yeah, I can still hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
All right, cool.
Can you hear
I believe it is past my sleepy time because I gotta get up and draw.
I like them.
So I'm heading out.
Yeah,
Oh no.
Good night, my friends.
Oh, who was doing the damn Sling Blade? I love Sling Blade. We were doing Sling Blade earlier. Good night, Eve. I love Sling Blade. That is such an underrated movie. Like,
oh yeah, agreed.
Oh my god. Like you talk about that boy, I'll cut your head right off. Like when at the end of the movie.
I like them fried taters and.
I reckon I ain't got no reason to kill that man.
Well, I reckon it's about 30 years ago. Kill my paw.
I'll just talk the rest of the podcast like this. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Could you imagine 2 hours of that? Everybody talking.
Yeah. Yeah, because like that whole movie, Billy Bob's like his like face is like.
Yeah.
I reckon. I don't know how he does it, man. It's great. Like.
It was a great movie, but God.
What, did he leave us? I guess.
Yeah, she had to go to bed.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Sorry. I thought that's what you was saying, but like I said, I lost audio. So I was like, I don't know if she's leaving or what.
Yeah, she had to go to. I guess she got to go to bed early so she could do more sexy lady art. Hopefully, sexy clowns in the morning.
Oh yeah.
So, Phil, you've been messing out on all this wonderful horror movie talk.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, he's lagging.
Oh, he's lagging again.
Oh, I've been back here listening to the whole thing.
Uh-oh.
Phil looks like he's ready to take a nap. Look at him. He had too much pantsless pizza.
Hell.
His mouth, he had a mouthful.
Yeah. So.
It's still lagging?
Yeah, still lagging.
Yeah, you're still lagging.
Lagging dragon. Dragon lagging. Dragon the lagging. Lagging the dragon. I don't know.
It's like a bad porno. Sounds like a Lord of the Rings porno. Lord of the Rings, lagging the dragon.
So I. Okay. Oh man, I'm telling you, it's what I didn't even realize today was Saturday. I'm losing track of days of all this quarantine of staying at home and all the time, and
God,
I got furloughed at my day job, so I'm like that was 2 months ago, so now it's like, oh, today's Saturday, all right.
Crap, I'm sorry, man. Jeez, that sucks.
Well, I mean, I got my comic book company, and literally between unemployment and my comics, it's like I'm making more if I doing this than if I was working my day job. So it's like maybe I should just not go back. Like I kind of don't want to go back.
Dude, that's what I ended up taking mine full time. I done it. Like I walked out when I took my last job, and that was 10 years ago.
Wow.
And I've done it ever since. Man, it's been great. Like I can't really say about it. There's been times I've been down and like not had a job that
right,
maybe once or twice, but nothing bad. I mean, it's been great, man. I love it. So if you got an established comic company, it might be something you think about.
Yeah, I have been thinking about it because it's like I've only been in business, not even, I hit my 1 year this month.
Oh,
1
damn,
year.
dude.
Yeah. And I like my first Kickstarter, I had like, it was a goal of $800. I made 8,000.
Wow.
Yeah. And my last one did almost, my last one made almost 10,000. And so it's only going up. And I just came out with a Star Wars X-rated parody. Which Russell, you ordered some of those copies, right?
Yep, sure did.
Yeah, yeah. Those are going to be printing up. Actually, they're all printed up now. They're going to be shipping out Monday, so I should have those probably by Wednesday or Thursday. And for those of you watching who also ordered the Totally Rad Wars, I will be shipping those out this week. But yeah, like I created during the quarantine, I created 2 books that I didn't do Kickstarters on. And it's like, I sold, one of them was an all ages book called Strange Cosmic Tales. That's like a Wally-Wood homage type story. And,
wow.
And all the comic shops that I've sold it to, they're like, yeah, I sold out like within the first day. And I was like, wow, really? Because granted, they only bought like 20, 25 copies on some of them because the shops are closed, so they can only deal with X amount of customers coming in.
Yeah.
So they sold out of that, and I was like, oh, wow, really? Like I surprised myself. And but then I did this Totally Rad Wars story, which I was kind of inspired by Marat Michaels because he does all those May the 4th covers every year for he's done that for the past 4 years. And I was like, he does because every indie comic creator is starting to do all the May the 4th variants, but they're only doing covers. They're not doing stories.
Yeah.
And because my story takes place in the 80s, I was like, well, why don't I do a story that revolves around the release of The Empire Strikes Back? And then it'll be all my Totally Rad characters, doing all sort of sexy Star Wars type things. Like one of them's wearing a slave Leia costume, and then the other one uses the Force to take off her top. And then
oh my god.
Then there's a scene where my main character Violet, she has sex with a guy that kind of looks like Mark Hamill, and she calls him Farm Boy, and she tells him to thrust that torpedo into her thermal exhaust port. And that's just page 1.
Oh, gosh. Page 1.
I do a lot of X-rated stuff. Sex sells. Sex sells. It's.
Hey, you're preaching the choir, man. Sex sells.
Yeah, hey, look at what I'm doing. Pantsless pizza, sex sells.
Pantsless pizza, which thank you to Russell for creating, because Russell, you were the one who created the pantsless pizza, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. There's my girl.
Yeah, so there's a story behind this. So we were all on a live show on Artist Alley Network one day, and so Phil was talking about, hey guys, I'm gonna have to get off here pretty soon because Heather's got pizza going. And so I was like, hey, I'm outside the window throwing bone. And he's like, hey man, what if I don't have any pants on? And I'm like, oh well, it's pantsless pizza. And so it just kind of became a thing. And so I started stealing both pictures off of his profile and then cropping out his pants and putting legs there. And so it was like the very next day he had a live show, and he posted a picture of him and Heather, and I put a hat on his hat. It said pantsless pizza, and I put a chef hat on her.
Yeah, he's had a lot of fun with this, and it's all good. I mean, we've been talking about it and everything. Everything's good with it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and the funniest part is all the people on the sidelines seeing us talking about pantsless pizza going, what the hell are they talking about?
And I had to get my artist. I was like, hey, I really can't explain the story, but I need you to create this character over here. And he was like, okay. Like, he's so used, because I mean, I'm also the guy who's been throwing sexy clown characters. I'm like, yeah, like draw the sexy clown with the balloons. And he's just like, he's in Mexico, so English is his second language. So sometimes I can understand him being confused on like what I'm asking him. It's like, I'm sorry, but I created all these messed up characters. Like, here's some sexy clowns.
You moved on to a new fetish, pizza.
Yeah. So now we got the pantsless pizza. And then
From
literally
balloon animals and cotton candy to pizza.
Oh,
There you go.
Well, the other thing, like now I'm working like so. I'm sure you guys have seen Steph Wilson. Well,
yeah.
Steph Wilson on Thursday did a sketch for. It was like an idea that he was trying to give to Tom Hutchinson of Big Dog Inc. And he goes, "Hey, you know, I got this cave woman story for Big Dog Inc." And Tom's like, "Nah, I don't think we could really do one right now." And I saw the sketch that he did for Big Dog Inc. And I was like, I messaged him. I said, "Dude, I have a totally rad idea for a cave woman that basically goes through from her time to the 1980s, where, you know, that way it crosses over with all my characters. So imagine a cave woman that's coming into modern or 1980s timeline where she's going, like, instead of, you know, the jungle, she's going through the concrete jungle, and she wins like she stumbles into a strip club and she wins the stripper pole contest because she's swinging from pole to pole. She doesn't realize what she's doing because she's so naive. So she has all these sexy mishaps, and, you know, also she's at a hot dog vendor. She's eating hot dogs, you know, and she's like, you know, licking the wiener and like playing with it in her mouth. And the hot dog vendor's just like, yeah, just take all the wieners you want. And then there was a saber-toothed tiger that chased her into the time stream, and she's the only thing the saber-toothed tiger recognizes. That's what so he follows her around. So the guy at the hot dog vendor stand gets freaked out when he sees the tiger and runs away. So he knocks over the cart, and so the sexy cave woman, who's topless the whole story, by the way, and the saber-tooth tiger are sitting there eating hot dogs. So I came up with this yesterday after seeing a sketch Steph Wilson did, and it's coming out August. It's going to be an 8-page story.
Oh,
and
damn.
It might lead into, it's like, imagine if Dean Yeagle and Bud Root had a baby.
Dude, now you're talking my language.
I'm still waiting to see Tina Turner as a second clown.
Oh my God. I love Tina. I fucking love Tina Turner. You know, I really love Tina Turner in one of the greatest apocalyptic stories of all time, the Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. You break the wheel, you spin the wheel.
No, it's
You break it, you spin the
Clounderdome.
wheel.
Get it right.
Yeah, that's actually one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah, I love Mad
yeah.
Max, man. I've seen that probably like 100 times when I was a kid.
Oh yeah.
I got nominated, you know, like on the Facebook, everyone's nominating, here's 10 movies that had an effect on me. I got nominated in that, and just like literally every movie I posted has been an 80s movie except for Jumanji, because I grew up in the 90s, so I had the Jumanji I was born in 93, so I have an old soul, but like Jumanji was like my childhood. Like that's the one movie I learned how to rewind a VHS on the VCR because of Jumanji. But like all these 80s movies, like Lethal Weapon 2 was one day, you know, Beverly Hills Cop was today, Platoon, freaking, you know, I haven't posted the Evil Dead 2 image yet.
I just thought you posted Jumanji because of 2020. You know, we're living it right now. That's how it's had an effect on your life.
Pretty much. So, you know, because it's the 10-day thing, but because I'm such a big fan of the 80s, and I can't just pick one John Hughes film for all these 10 days. So but I don't think I'm gonna do 10 days. I'm just gonna keep it going because I can't do 10 and not do 11 as This Is Spinal Tap, because this one does go to 11. You know. So I have to do Spinal Tap on day 11. Like I can't not do day 11 now. Like there's no way.
No.
And it was funny. I did Return of the Living Dead as day 1, and then someone was like, "What movie is this?" It's like, have you never seen this movie? It's like so great. Like, yeah, I remember. So I was in the Navy for 4 years, and there's 2 movies that I watched. This is before I got to a boat. I was on submarine, so I went underwater. So I really couldn't watch like new movies that were coming out. I had to watch old movies a lot. But before I went to the boat, 2 movies I watched a lot, and I went to my A school, my logistics school in the middle of Mississippi. So I watched Day of the Dead which literally it felt like I was living Day of the Dead, just being stuck on a military
hell
base,
yeah.
nowhere to go. And like Return of the Living Dead's another one. But as far as 80s movies goes, there's 2 80s movies that I watched 86 times and almost 100 times in an entire underwater on a submarine. Ferris Bueller's Day Off,
Yes.
Aliens.
Oh god,
Bueller.
Aliens, dude. Wow.
Bueller.
I could watch Ferris Bueller's Day Off every day for the rest of my life. I'd never get tired of it. Same thing with Aliens. You could start Aliens right now, and I can tell you what's being said, what song on the soundtrack is being played, who's the actor and actress in this scene. Like I've seen all those movies. Like a lot of people don't know, Louis Anderson is in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, but his scene was cut. A lot of people don't know that.
In Aliens, did you watch the European cut on that one that had all the extra footage?
Yes.
You've seen that with the extra, like the miniguns and everything scenes in there? Because that was badass.
The miniguns, the scenes where she sees, what's his name, Paul Reiser's character. Because you only see Paul Reiser's character, like he dies off screen basically, but she runs into him again later on in the movie, but that scene was cut for Ty.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the whole, what was it?
So when do we get to see a sexy alien painted up as a clown?
Now that it's been said, it's gonna be made. It's instead of the little alien, maybe it'll be like a balloon alien, like
balloon.
But also, that brings up a wonderful idea that I've had for one of my books. It's the new patent that I want to put on sex toys, where you know how like they call it tongue punching a box, where instead of using your tongue, you put a little boxing glove on the end of your tongue, and you go blah, 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 with a little boxing glove coming out. So you're literally tongue punching a box with a little boxing glove. I'm full of fun ideas.
I'm gonna go put like a sound bit in, and it plays the Rocky theme when you do it.
Oh, yeah. Trevor Grace.
Yes.
Oh man. Shout out
I
to
can
Trevor.
see it now. Jim does a commercial for it with my product. TKO that clit.
Just doing that for like the after he runs up the stairs.
Oh man, yeah, it's like everyone's chasing him, but it's like porn stars that are chasing him instead of like the whole city of Philadelphia chasing him up the stairs. And he's like, yeah, and all the chicks are like, yeah.
They're all going,
I'm Rocky Balboa.
You could be Ivan Drago. I must break you. You could be Apollo Creed. You could be living in America. Freaking James Brown. I was definitely born in the wrong decade. I'll tell you that much. I can't date a woman during these times. Not during I can't date a woman during coronavirus times. Sure. But I can't really date someone my age because I do most of my interactions with people are a lot of 80s movies quotes. Mm-hmm. So they don't get it. They don't get it. Like, it's like, you had me at a low. It's like, oh, okay, I don't know what that means. Yeah, it's like, well, like I literally had a lady friend over here a couple weeks ago, and I was like, let's watch Throw Mama from the Train, and she was she's like, this movie's old, and I was like, it's not old, it just came out, and I was like, 35 years ago. But it just I love that movie. It's like, how can you not like Throw Mama from the Train? It's got the mom from the Goonies as the mama. It's like, it's such a great movie. Like, holy shit, I had a dream that Louis Armstrong was trying to kill me. That's another underrated 80s movie. I feel, Billy Crystal, Danny DeVito. And for those of you watching, I'm sure a lot of you have seen it. If you haven't seen this film, I highly recommend watching it.
Oh yeah, that's definitely another one.
Well, that's the thing, 80s and 90s films are a lot better because, I mean, if you look at what's coming out today and what's coming out over the last 20 years, it's all rehashed stuff from the 80s and 90s. Well, let's reboot it because we can't make anything better.
They did a musical version of Valley Girl that just came out straight to stream, and I saw it. I was like, Valley Girl, like no. I looked it up, and it's a musical version, and I was like, you can't do that to Valley Girl. Like Nicolas Cage is rolling in all the low budget movies he's making right now. Like, what have you done to my movie? You know. Speaking of 80s movies, I had this conversation with Phil last week. We were talking about Beverly Hills Cop, and Phil, there's a scene in that movie about the banana and the pipe. Phil can do Eddie Murphy's white guy voice. Go ahead and do it, Phil.
Oh.
Put me on the spot, why don't you?
Oh, you're not going to fall for the banana and the tailpipe, huh?
I freaking love it, man.
That's good.
Hell yeah.
Tell you what, my favorite movie as a kid that I had was Robot Jocks. It's like old movie where they had, instead of war, they got together in robots and fought each other over provinces. Man, I've probably watched that movie 10,000 times, so much that I bought it on DVD and now I own it on Blu-ray. I'm like, watch this, it's awesome.
It came out
it's so
on
cheesy
Blu-ray?
now that you watched it. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh damn! I missed that one. I gotta pick that one up.
There's a really
Oh yeah, you can get it. I got it on Amazon. It was like $6.
There's a really bad 3D movie that came out in the 80s, and it was pre Molly Ringwald, John Hughes films, and it had Molly Ringwald in it, but it also had Michael Ironside in it as the villain.
Yes.
And I literally found out the name of it the other day. I bought the film on my Xbox. I can't think of the name off the top of my head. You know what I'm talking about, right? Where it's like a science fiction movie where they land on a planet. No. Molly Ringwald's in it, and she's like, joining this I guess he's like I can't remember, like, it's such a badass movie. And Michael Ironside is in it as a villain, and there's a scene.
That's why.
Do what?
I said that's why Michael Ironside's playing the villain, man.
Yeah. Like, but with Michael Ironside, like, he's like a pervert. It was a 3D movie though, but I never saw it in 3D. But Michael Ironside, he's like a robot, like cybernetic guy, but he also like gets off of like seeing women naked. God damn it, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. Hold on, I can literally give me 2 seconds.
That actually sounds freaking familiar.
Because I literally watched this movie the other day. Like, I rented it on my Xbox. It was such a great movie. It does not hold up. I'll tell you that much, right? Because there's a scene where Michael Ironside goes, "Take off your clothes," and like, 'cause he's like a robot. Like, it's so fucking bad. But there's a fucking a cool ass scene where Molly Ringwald is going through like a badass arena with like razor blades and shit coming at her. It's like fucking badass as shit. But it also, this is like teenage Molly Ringwald. This is before Pretty in Pink. This is before 16 Candles. This is before freaking any of those John Hughes movies.
Is it called Adventures of the Forbidden Zone?
Hold on.
Christy's looking it up real quick.
I think that might be it. It's got Michael Ironside in it. It's got Molly Ringwald in it.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a longer name than that. Like maybe the guy's name, maybe. I don't know. Could be wrong.
Could be longer.
Did Russell disintegrate? What happened to Russell?
Russell's gone.
I'm still here. I'm looking for the Blu-ray. I was gonna freaking get the Blu-ray and show it to you, but my kids run off of stuff. They like to run off with the movies.
That Robot Jocks.
Well, see, and a lot of people don't know that there was a prequel to it. So this is the prequel to Robot Jock, and this is the sequel to Robot Jock.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I watched every one of those when I was a kid.
Oh, I drove 60 miles to go buy this because I had never seen it before, and there was only one place that had this. I didn't care how cheesy this movie was. I had to see it because I loved Robot Jock so much.
Hell yeah. Hey, Jim. Christy said that's called Space Hunters. It's called Space Hunters Adventures in the Forbidden Zone.
That's what it is. Yeah, It was because it's a long name, and it was a 3D movie, but like, it's really you can watch the movie. It's got Ernie Hudson's in that movie.
What?
Yeah. It's pre-Ghostbusters, Ernie Hudson, pre-John Hughes films, Molly Ringwald. Like I don't remember the main star. The main star didn't become anybody, but it's got Michael Ironside, it's got Molly Ringwald, Ernie Hudson's in it. Ernie Hudson's bald in the whole movie. It's crazy. But he's not a main character, but he's like a supporting character. But yeah, if you haven't seen Space Hunters and you're really interested in seeing some badass, like there's one specific scene where Molly Ringwald's going through like this badass arena. You definitely have to see this movie.
Yeah, I'll watch it. Oh, I've never seen it. I've heard of it, I think, but I'm going to watch it. I'm going to see if I can find it.
I literally I saw that movie as a kid with my grandfather. My grandfather was really into science fiction, and we would watch the Sci-Fi Channel a lot, and that movie came on, and I had these images of this movie, and for like the last 6 years, I'm like, what the fuck was the name of that movie? Because I don't remember any of the actors or actresses in that movie. I was like, I gotta find this movie, and I would explain it to like, yeah, like there's this guy, he's kind of like a spider robot type guy, and they're like, oh, are you talking about like Wrath, or are you talking about like, no, it's not. It doesn't have, it doesn't have like all these people in it. And I was like, I don't remember the name of it. There's a scene where like she's going through, the arena, and every time I search like hot chick going through like a arena type thing, I kept getting like the Dungeons and Dragons movie. I'm like, that's not the movie. It's a badass movie, and I finally found it. I was like, fuck yes. Because then I can recognize all the actors.
I have to interrupt because we have a little bit of news that I have to go ahead and break right now on this channel.
Uh-oh.
We have officially made 666 subscribers. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Iron Maiden, Number of the Beast. Start playing it right now.
Oh, hell yes. No, I can't do that because then, flagging and all that fun stuff. So, not going to do that.
If I sing it, will we get kicked off?
If you sing it, we'll probably get kicked off anyway.
Yeah, it turns.
I was that way. There was a.
Why'd you guys get kicked off? We showed all nudie covers, no problem. Well, Jim started singing. What can we say?
Yeah, I know.
But Jim, there was a movie I done that once. I watched when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And it was about a haunted doll. And it was just like this girl had a doll, and its like eyes was sewed shut and its mouth was sewed shut. Oh, dude.
What?
Freaking awesome. Yeah, I gotta try to find that.
Yeah, I had to find it. My kids always pull all my movies off the bookshelf, and they think they're hockey pucks. The joys of having toddlers.
My sister does that once in a while too, but
In your kids' defense, I'm going to go ahead and say they're probably trying to get you back for going ahead and do the Mentos and the Coke thing on them.
See, if you haven't seen that, Jim, or you guys got to check that out. It was awesome. I decided it was a great idea to do science experiments on the weekends with the kids because they're so stressed out over, my son was supposed to be graduating preschool going to kindergarten next year. Well, we pulled him out in February because he's got heart problems. He's had multiple open heart surgeries. So the flu was really bad back in February. So we were like, hey, we're going to pull you out of school. And there was like 12 kids sick out of the class. So we pulled them out. Well, then we went to go to send them back after the week after Valentine's Day, and they had a second wave of the flu, and then the RSV, and hand, foot, and mouth, and all kinds of stuff was going around. So we're like, no, buddy, you can't go back to school. Well, then, of course, the second week of March, we go to send him back, and here comes the Rona. Yeah. And so, he hasn't seen any of his friends at school. We can't allow family around and stuff just because, if somebody goes to the store and gets it, it could possibly kill them because, they cause heart problem stuff. So I was like, thinking of things that we could do. And I was like, we go live and do science experiments and the family can watch it. So I get the Coke and some Mentos and I take them out on the back porch. And my daughter, she's a daredevil. My son, he's like, boom, gone. As soon as something happens, he's already halfway down the street. My daughter's just like, hey, let's do that again. So, of course, she's the one that is so trusting. She has a Mentos in her hand, and she just drops it in there, and she's looking right into it and takes it straight to the face.
No, wait. Let me go ahead. Wait. I got to go ahead and interrupt and put something on here because there was something said whenever she was dropping that in. Because I went back and I rewatched that several times. I was like, is that what I thought I just heard? Because you hear Russell over there going, yeah, look down there. It's fixing to change colors. And she went down face first right into the hole of the thing, and it just poofed right up into her.
Well, I mean, yeah,
it did change colors. It went from dark brown to light brown. I mean, it's a color change.
Didn't lie.
And the funny thing is after it happened, she walks over while it's still going on and tries to drop another one in there because she don't care. She's just like, hey, let's do it again.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's pretty good. Yeah, so far, I don't have any kids as I know of yet. I'm sure there's going to be one day where a Filipino boy or girl is going to be knocking at my door saying, I'm your son, or daughter.
Daddy.
Yeah, like, are you my father? Like, are you Jim Usnavi? Because that was the name on my uniform, U.S. Navy. There's a lot of people in the Philippines with the last name Usnavi, Us Army, Us Marines. Fun fact.
You know what, Jim? If they show up with clown paint and a nose, you can't deny that shit.
Yeah. I can't. What's going to be really fucked up is like 20 years from now when I have like a family or something, and they're going to be like, Dad, what do you do to make money? And it's like, well, I'll show you what I like. Depending on what age they're asking me, it's like, I make comic books. Oh, like Spider-Man? Not quite.
No.
Yeah, they're going to see Totally Rad Comics at home on a banner and tell all their friends at school, and all the kids at school are going to be on TotallyRad.com.
I'm going to get phone calls. I'm going to get called into the school. I'm going to be in the principal's office once again after, freaking hell, I got kicked out of high school for selling drugs my freshman year, so I never even graduated high school. I'm not big on education, as you could tell, but I'm a writer. A writer, you know what they say, a writer writes always. It's worked out for me so far, but I'm sure people viewing this podcast here or this YouTube video, they're like, the guy who makes Totally Rad Comics never graduated high school. Hell, I never even finished freshman English, so I still spell Wednesday wrong.
Hell, I still spell Wednesday wrong.
What about that brewery?
It is, yeah. Oh yeah, and don't even get me started on librarian or library.
Oh.
Now, while I've got you here, I want to do a quick shout out.
Nobody read the words, right?
Yeah,
exactly. There's words in there. Wait a minute. What?
I'm
going to give a quick shout out since I've got Dave here to go ahead and show off something real quick.
Woo!
Oh, damn. There's the Lady Death. Like in 2 seconds, I did.
Yep.
Bounce them on down.
So, I'm going to go back and rewatch this video.
Virtual motorboating.
I'm going to turn it into a GIF.
I went on to Dave's show, and he was going to do a special thing on there, and he was like, whoever's on here, go, give me some ideas on what we can do, whatever. Just send them over to me. I'm like, you sure you want to go that route? I mean, I can come up with some stuff. And everyone else, was kind of being quiet. And I was like, well, if they're going to be quiet, I'm going to jump on this. So I was like,
oh, yeah.
Lady Death with Jessica Rabbit mashup. And I could tell by the look on his face, he had seen mine. He was like, oh, Phil, I am definitely doing this one. That's the first one I'm doing. We're getting warmed up off of this one right here. And he did. He whipped that thing out. I mean, it didn't take him very long on it.
He whipped what out?
I mean, he did. He finished it up and everything. He sent it over to me in the file, and I had it, and I was like, holy crap, this is badass. And you ended up doing, I think, 3 others that day. You did 4 total.
I think there was 4 total. And
yeah.
I was giving out the print to everybody too. But yeah, I think I done 4 total in, oh God. Yeah, probably. I think I done I was an hour and a half. But
yeah.
I'm used to doing that like live, dude. Like there was one, like I went to Alamo Draft House when they did one of the Avengers, and I literally I was there for, what was it, Christy, 6 hours?
Yeah, it's about 5 hours.
About 5 hours. I done 17 drawings that day. For free. And I would just sit there and sketch about, like, I'm used to doing that. And I think it's so much fun. That's why when this beer virus went out this year, and I thought, well, I'm going to at least do something for Free Comic Book Day. I've got to do something, because I'm used to doing Free Comic Book Day every year. and doing free sketches for people. And then when Tom let me do the AASSN, I'm like, I'm going to combine both of them, just do something that day.
Yep.
So
Yeah, it came out great.
That was a lot of fun.
So, David, you know what I just realized who you remind me a lot of?
Oh, God.
Have you ever seen RoboCop 2?
Oh, shit. Don't you say it. I know who exactly.
Kane! Kane from RoboCop 2.
And I freaking met him before. I have met him. Tom Noonan?
Yeah.
I've got his autograph from RoboCop 2, actually.
Hell yeah. Do you have any nuke on you?
Yeah, I've got nuke.
Oh my god. I was like, I've been sitting here this whole time. I'm like, David really reminds me of somebody. I know I've seen this face. Yeah,
when I shave my head, like I've got like long hair right now. Like I need to like freaking cut my hair. Look at that. But if I kept my hair short, people say they're like, you look like Tom Noonan from Monster Squad and yeah, from
I know the feeling.
Yeah, like
yeah.
See, I got a receding hairline.
This should be like right here.
Ugh,
see, I grow my hair out to hide my receding hairline, so I don't look bald anymore.
Oh, I mean, if we're going that route, if I go like that, you guys can
blame it on Mona, bringing back the freaking
false advertisement because it looks like
mullet
I have hair in front and I don't in the back.
Everybody's gonna be rocking the Corona mullet.
Hell yeah!
I cannot wait to get out and get my hair cut. I'm ready. Phil looks like he is too. He's about ready for a haircut.
Oh, I did mine today. I'm all good.
Phil looks like a dirty hippie right now. Jesus Christ! He looks like he's about to put on a production of Hair. Down to their hair, show the length of longer. There's probably like one person who's gonna watch this video and be like, "Yeah, man, I love Hair." Like that. It's like one of like the most obscure musicals from back in the day that they would perform naked. By the way, for those of you who are watching who don't know what Hair is, it's also a movie, and they're not naked in the movie.
No, they're not naked in the movie. So don't be disappointed like some other people might have been.
If you rent the movie like I did, thinking, "Oh wow, I get to see some dirty naked hippies in this. I'm going to be so excited." They're not naked.
You're like, woohoo! Aww.
They start the movie. I'm like, okay, maybe they'll get naked later on in the movie. Nope, they don't.
Nope.
There's no nudity.
Nope.
No.
But there is a scene where one of the hippie chicks gets pregnant, and they're like, "Who's the father?" And it's like, "You are all the fathers." Like, what the fuck? It's like it could be that hippie, or it could be the other hippie, or it could be the hippie that went to Vietnam disguising himself as the other hippie that died. I don't know. It's a hard movie to follow.
That's a lot of backtracking.
Let the sunshine in.
Maybe that was the meaning. I don't know.
Well, I know, Dave, you've been working on a bunch of stuff because you've been putting up pages left and right that have got me all kinds of interested on your work that you're working on with all the sketches.
I just, and recently the reason why I've been doing that, recently I got this iPad and I decided like I was going to do some sketches on it and try to learn it with Clip Art Studio because I mainly use Clip Art Studio for my artwork. And so that's why like a lot of times like I'll throw sketches on the, just random stuff because I'm trying it out. That's sexier than hell, Jim.
I'm going for the young Adolf.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Jim, are you showing off that Bosley really works?
But I've been doing that, and I told myself when this beer virus was going on that I kind of wanted to tweak my work and get a little bit better, and I kind of wanted to because I actually grew up in Disney. I was going to work for Disney, Walt Disney, doing animation.
Oh.
And I wanted to improvise that back in my art and everything. So that's why I done, and that's why it's getting kind of cartoony looking, more cartoony looking stuff and all, and more clown looking.
Yeah.
And stuff and all.
You can do the Jim Carrey. I'm kicking my ass. Do you mind?
What the hell?
Speaking
They're
of
over here
Disney,
comparing hairstyles and everything while we're talking.
speaking of Disney, fun fact.
Oh boy, here we go.
Oh no, here we go.
For those of you who are watching and have know what kind of work I do, I've been kicked out of at the time when I got kicked out, it was called MGM Studios, and I still call it MGM Studios to this day. Unfortunately, they call it Hollywood Studios now, and they got rid of all the fun rides on there. But there was one ride that was a fan favorite among most, and it's personally one of the greatest rides I've ever ridden, called the Great Movie Ride, where you can literally go through the Wizard of Oz to Aliens to Indiana Jones on the Great Movie Ride.
Hell?
Yes, at MGM Studios, the Great Movie Ride takes you from all films such as films from the 1930s of gangster movies all the way to Indiana Jones to freaking Ridley Scott's Alien.
Wow.
Yeah, one of the greatest rides ever that they ever had at Walt Disney World, MGM Studios. You will, I can tell you from experience, you will get kicked out of MGM Studios or Hollywood Studios if you are panhandling. Because I have been kicked out for panhandling. Also, within that same week, I got kicked out of SeaWorld for loitering. So, I am on a list at Walt Disney Studios. If I fuck up one more time at any of those parks, granted, this was when I was 16 years old. I got kicked out for panhandling. They have my name on file. They have my ticket number on file. If I ever fuck up at any other of those Walt Disney resorts, I will be forever banned from Walt Disney World.
Banned. You will be banned.
Let's get to the truth of the matter, what really happened. See, it was going through all those movies, and it got to Terminator and some of the other Arnie films, and you took your pants off, and you did the helicopter and yelled, "Get to the chopper!"
Well, see, that's it. The Terminator thing is at Universal, but the thing with it.
See, wait a minute. That was not a denial.
That was at Universal, so you're not telling the story. It was just at a different park.
He never freaking denied it. He just kept like, well, now hang on.
all the greatest rides they've taken away, so it's like, why do I even go back? Like, they got rid of the Jaws ride at Universal. They got rid of the Great Movie Ride at MGM. Yeah, I know. The Jaws ride, the greatest ride, the ride that you literally see a person in a boat shoot the water, and then 3 seconds later, the water finally shoots up in reaction to the fake bullet that they just shot in there.
Dang.
Oh, look, there's a shark. I don't know why they get rid of such a classy ride.
Jim, I can see your wheels turning. I can just see you thinking of ways to use the helicopter and get to the chopper. The next week, we're going to have a book out called The Sperminator.
He's already got a Terminator cover.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yes, I do. I did. Phil, do you have that on hand?
Yeah.
Phil,
I can show it. Jim, give me a second.
Yeah, I got
Russell, do you have it?
I don't have it on. I can look it up on the.
I'm looking. I've got it. I've just got to pull it up.
All
I've got Jim Safe file up here. So let me get into that.
Jim Safe file.
Well, Jim doesn't have all of Safe
He's
files.
got to load up the external hard drive because it's full of Jim's pictures.
It's terabytes filled of pornography. I mean, poetry.
Poetry, yes. Yes, poetry.
Oh my God,
right.
I'm looking at, oh shit. It's like, look at your time.
You could
There's a lot of comments there, Phil. There we go.
Shit.
Yeah. That is a cover swipe of the Terminator movie poster featuring my character, Violet. And in her glasses, you can't read it from far away, but in her sunglasses, it reads Roxy, which is my sexy clown. And the story behind it is Violet goes back in time to kill my sexy clown.
That's freaking cool.
Yeah. So that's a story that I'm going to be working on. Because, like, after doing the Star Wars parody cover or parody story, I was like, well, I could do Planet of the Apes. I can do Beneath Planet of the Apes. I could do Terminator instead of Planet of the Apes. It's Planet of the Clowns, and Beneath Planet of the Clowns, Escape from Planet of the Clowns, Conquest of Planet of the Clowns. Beneath
Night of the Living Clown.
Night of the Living Clown. Return of the Living Clowns. Day of the Clowns. Dawn of the Clowns. Hell yeah! I'm totally gonna do it now. Now that it's been said, there's people who are gonna be like, I need to steal this idea. Good luck, because I already copyrighted all this stuff.
All right, got it. Oh, do you want
Go ahead.
clowns? Like aliens, just do clowns.
I for that cave woman story, I was discussing with Steph Wilson. I said, hey, what if she's riding like a pterodactyl, like totally heavy metal type homage, and
Yes.
When they go through the time portal, the pterodactyl turns into a skeleton, so she's like falling from the sky or whatever. And he goes, well, that would work in theory, but you're already doing an outlandish thing by her traveling through time, and the fact that there's like a 300 million year difference between humans and dinosaurs. It would make more sense if it was a saber-toothed tiger as opposed to a pterodactyl. And I was like, well, you got me there, even though she's going through a portal through time. So, I mean,
You got me there.
Yeah. God. Well, I also told him she goes from having brown, because I don't want to do the generic cave woman that they have the brown and blonde hair. I want it when she goes through the time portal, she goes from having the brown hair to she has like electric blue hair because the time portal changed her hair color.
Hell yeah.
And he was telling me, he goes, you have a weird thing of hair colors, because if you look at Violet has blonde hair with pink streaks in it. Roxy Feelgood, because she's a clown, she has green hair. And Trix, the other sexy clown, because Silly Rabbit tricks are also for adults. She has purple hair.
Not for kids.
Not for kids.
Not for
Definitely not
kids.
for kids. Do not show your children my books. I can't stress this enough. I am tired of the dirty emails I'm getting from these mothers who are buying my books and showing their children these clowns. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I am an adult comic book maker. I make X-rated stuff. I put the X in sex. God damn it.
God damn it.
So I got a question. Since you're gonna do these clownians, we'll just call the aliens clownians. When are we gonna have like the crossover between alien clowns and the predator clowns? Clownians versus predaclowns.
Well, I
mean, how badass would that be? You got predaclowns with balloon animal launchers on their shoulder that track them. And whenever they self-destruct, it's a giant helium bottle on their wrist, and everybody starts talking funny afterwards.
This is a great segue, because I am literally working on a sexy version of Predator, and the name of it is called Rax, R-A-C-K-S. Rax, like boobs, and it's coming out on Kickstarter June 16th.
Oh, I was thinking it was gonna be like Wreck-It Ralph, and he's gonna wreck it.
No. So basically, imagine Predator, but imagine Predator with all the awesome like hunters like collecting alien trophy skulls and stuff like that, but sexy. So instead of tooth vagina, you get real vagina. I'll have to show you guys some images. It's really cool. God. It's super sexy. It's also going to be featured on my Kickstarter with Totally Rad Life of Violet #3. So Totally Rad Life of Violet #3 Kickstarter will feature Rax, which is essentially, to sum it all up, it is sexy Predator.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, and that's June 16th. That's going to be launching, correct?
That's my birthday too. Yeah.
Yep.
So if you want to get me something for my birthday, pledge to my Kickstarter. Or if you want to be really cool, don't pledge to the Kickstarter. Just send me PayPal money, because I don't have to get the Kickstarter fees taken out of that. But yes, do check out the Kickstarter.
Now I know, Russell, I've got you on as a guest on Wednesday. You're going to be coming on the show.
Hey, wait a minute. Didn't you have him on weren't you supposed to have him on as a guest on Tuesday? What the fuck, Phil?
Yes, I was. And yes, I feel bad about that, because my ear was completely screwed up. I had no equilibrium for 2 days.
Oh,
so
damn.
yeah, I had to cancel on that one.
Like the movie with Christian Bale?
No, not that equilibrium, no.
See, that's another movie that gets looked over a lot, because that movie came out at the same time The Matrix came out, and The Matrix was such a superior movie that everyone forgot equilibrium was even a thing.
Oh, I didn't forget it. I love the movie.
Yep.
American Mythology is actually, they own the rights to that movie. They do Equilibrium comic books. Fun fact.
Yep.
Oh wow.
Another fun fact: the person who used to own CBCS Comic Book Certification Service, which is the company that I work for, is the president of American Mythology.
Huh.
Who would have thought? Small world.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, Tuesday didn't really work out for me either with everything that was going on here with little man. They called and they had canceled his appointment last month about getting him in. He's got a blockage in his aorta, so we've been on the fence with everything with the corona. They don't want him coming into the hospital. So they canceled it back in April, and so we've been kind of freaking out because back in, I guess it was July or August of last year when he went in, he had a pretty moderate blockage in his aorta. So we're like, it's been almost a year. We don't even know when we're going to be able to get him in. Well, then not last week, I guess like last Wednesday or Thursday, they called and they said, well, why don't you go ahead and bring him in? Maybe we open the clinic up. So Monday was kind of a crappy day for both of us because they pretty much told us, only one parent's allowed in there. And if he ends up having to have a surgery, only one parent's allowed to be up here. And so it's like, how can you sit there as a parent? And, I promised Roderick, 5 now. I mean, I know he probably won't remember it, but I promised him I would always be there, no matter what. Anytime he has these surgeries and stuff, I'm always going to be there for you. I'll take off work. At a vacation, I'll figure something out. I'll be there. And it's like now I got to sit there and tell my son because I know when he wakes up out of surgery that, he's going to want to see his mom. But, hey, I'm sorry, I can't be there. And then there's nothing I can do about it. And even if he goes in for like a cardiac cath or, it seems like a minor procedure, but anytime they go in for a cardiac cath to have stent in his aorta balloon, they have to have the open heart surgery room open because if something were to go wrong, they got to crack them back open. And so like here I am, got to worry about sitting at home and getting a phone call from her and her being up there by herself saying, oh, hey, they cracked Roderick open because they busted something. How crappy is that to be home and not be able to be up there and know what's going on, or for her to be up there by herself having to deal with all this. It's weird times we're living in.
Oh yeah,
very
definitely.
weird. Well, I hope everything works out all right, man. I hate to hear that.
Oh, I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, with him, he was only born with single coronary artery. So I mean, you're supposed to have 2. You're supposed to have the pulmonary and the aorta. Well, they call it a trunk. And so at birth, he had his first open heart surgery at a week old. They had to take a homograft, basically just a cadaver artery, and they placed it in his chest and attached his pulmonary arteries to it to form his second coronary artery. And then he also had a interrupted aortic arch. So one of the biggest things when he was born is they had to keep him on prostaglandin because you have this PDA that runs from your heart to your aorta. Well, thank God that it actually ran to his aorta after the interrupt. So that was the only thing keeping him alive. And of course, when he was born, the heart surgeon's on vacation for a week after he's born. So we spent like a week in the hospital with him before they even did his first open heart surgery. But they took some of his actual artery by moving one of his right arm arteries and formed that bridge in it, the interrupt in his aorta. And so it's only like 70% his tissue and the other 30% is Gore-Tex. And they're like, oh, well, theoretically, this should grow with him. Well, it didn't. At 11 months, he had to have a stent put in it and had to have it ballooned. And then in 17, he was almost 2. They had to go in and they catheterized it again because his tissue grew through the stent and blocked it off on the inside. And so then, they told us, oh, it'll be 4 or 5 before he has open heart surgery again. Well, we go in the week before Halloween to have this cath done. And they come out and they're like, well, everything went okay. We didn't balloon as much as we want. And oh, by the way, we scheduled open heart surgery next month. So Thanksgiving, we had open heart surgery again. They took the homograph out. They had an 8mm, and they put 18mm in. So it's something. I mean, it's an ever-evolving situation. With like tomorrow could be different because that artery, with it being dead tissue, it calcifies. It could scar just because the body attaches its dead tissue, and if it scars, it shrinks. him going. There's just so many factors. So
Wow.
we go about every 3 to 6 months to have all this stuff checked, because not only do we have to worry about tomograph, the artificial coronary artery, but we got to worry about this blockage in his aorta, because if it gets too much, basically what happens is all that pressure goes up to his head because it's trying to pump into his body, but it can't, so it can cause brain damage, especially in kids with the developing brain. So we don't know how many open heart surgeries and stuff he'll have to have throughout his life. It all is based on how everything works. And I mean, they've only been doing this surgery for, I think, 10 years now.
Oh, wow.
When he was born, they said, "Oh, we've only been doing this for 5 or 6 years." So, you know, that everything's kind of theoretical. We can't really tell you what's going to happen.
Well, I hope everything works out all right, man. That's scary. That's we'll keep everything, the prayer thing and everything and all. We'll kind of keep that open and all. Yeah,
I appreciate it.
I hope everything works out all right. That's I'm speechless, man.
Yeah, it's a hard pill to swallow. I mean, we got good news too. Monday, they said that they think he can hold off until November, but
Wow.
I mean, it's still like they're saying, you know, this winter is going to be one of the blackest winters America's ever seen with this pandemic going on. And I'm like, well, what happens in November when the hospital's closed? Because, like, after they canceled Roderick's appointment last month in April, there's a couple of kids, because it's Cardinal Glennon is the hospital in St. Louis that we use. So we started a Cardinal Glennon Heart Group for all parents that are in the St. Louis region to get on there. That way these kids have somebody they can interact with and say, you know, talk about their problems with and actually talk to somebody. Because I could tell Roderick all I want, you know, hey, I'm sorry, you know, this is what you can do. But I don't know what he goes through or what he feels. And these kids do. So, you know, and there was like 3 kids just canceled their open heart surgery. They're like, oh, it's an elective surgery, not necessary. So like basically the way the hospitals are like, unless you are actually physically dying at this moment, we don't want you coming up here.
Well, I was just saying, you guys, because I live in Springfield, Missouri. I live like about 3 or 4 hours south of you guys.
Oh yeah, you live out in the Branson area.
Yeah, we live close to Branson, and you guys are still like, you're in full shut-in, aren't you? Like, you're completely.
Well, see, we opened. I live in Franklin County. I live in Union, so I'm about 20 minutes west of Six Flags.
Okay,
and
exactly where you're at.
Franklin County was like a month ago. They're like, "Oh, screw the governor, we're running up." And so St. Louis County is still on lockdown, but all the businesses are open. They're basically saying, "No, we don't care that you say that we can't open. We're opening," and everything's open now.
Oh damn! I didn't even know that, because I know, like, last time.
Oh yeah, I think Friday we had 200 new cases, like 282 new cases in St. Louis County.
And see, that's what I'm afraid. I'm afraid if we open too soon, you guys. I don't mean to get all this going, but if we open too soon, this is gonna start all over again. I hope not.
Yeah. Well, at least you're not like Texas, where the governor was like, "Well, we're opening up again, and we're gonna do phase 1 in 2 weeks. If the cases don't go up, we're gonna go on to phase 2." And literally, the last 2 weeks has been the highest amount of cases reported. Like, God damn it!
All this
and every state's experiencing that. I mean, Tennessee, Georgia, Florida, all the ones that were the first of the 4 that opened up have all reported that they had like 1,000% increase the first week. And it's like, but it is what it is. There ain't nothing we can do, but we can just be careful.
Yeah. My company,
I got a giant bottle of hand sanitizer. I'm just like,
oh God, dude, I did that. Like, I was like the king of hand sanitizer back in the day, because I'd go to cons.
Oh yeah.
Have, like, a tub.
Oh yeah.
To me, and like every time somebody would walk up, shake hands, so like hand sanitizer, hand sanitizer, hand sanitizer.
Well, the con crud is
for cons.
For me,
hand sanitizer, and people need deodorant. I mean, that's something that we all.
For me, I get worried when I meet fans who have read my books and like my books. It's like, hey, how come your hands smell like Jergens? Like but no, that's for the Totally Rad fans that are watching. It's only a joke. Don't take offense to it. I love all of you equally.
Like super true. Every time somebody walks up to your freaking stand, they're gonna be like, smells like sex in here.
It smells like sex.
I really got to start looking into doing some of these sex shows because I know George Perez does the Fetish Con in Tampa.
Oh, hell yeah.
So it's and I try to convince my company into doing a private signing of George Perez when he does Fetish Con because it's like if you go to any other regular comic book convention, this is before the coronavirus, obviously, lines would be out the door for George Perez. If you go see George Perez at Fetish Con, no one's in line to see George Perez. They're there to see fucking Jane Smith, the porn star of the year or whatever. They see George Perez and they're like, whatever. Like no one's in line to see him.
Who?
Yeah, like George Perez. Like what is he? Like one of those old school Ron Jeremy porn stars?
I don't know. Is he actually? Is he dressed up in leather?
Cigar and.
Yeah.
Is he actually dressed up in leather, or I mean, is he just there in normal clothes? Because it does make a difference. It's all in how you present yourself.
I don't know if it's true, but somebody mentioned something about assless chaps, but I think it might have been a joke. But
we hope.
You never know. I love George Perez, and this is not like me taking a stab at him or anything. This is nothing but respect. But like, I don't know. Someone said assless chaps. But also, he's also. I think he retired last year from main conventions.
Are we losing you, Dave?
Actually. Oh, I think we lost Jim. There you are. Okay.
Okay.
Lost you for a second.
Yeah, I want to say he retired last year.
Well, we've been on here for a little over 2 hours now. I think we can go ahead and start shutting this bad boy down.
Phil, what's the record?
Sorry about that, man.
This may be the record, actually.
I want to do it one of these days where we literally go 69 hours of live. I want to go 3 days straight.
Oh, yeah. See, Phil doesn't understand what he got himself into. He's got a great group of guys that know how to talk, and trust me, man. My wife yells at me every time we go to the door because I'll just randomly start conversations with people. And
I've
like,
got
you talk to anybody, don't you?
Yeah,
I've got a webcam on the way. It's just stuck in parcel wherever type thing. So I'm waiting on that to actually get here. Whenever it does, then I can go much longer.
Is this you announcing? Is this you announcing your webcam shows? Are you getting one of those campsites now?
I can neither confirm nor deny said statement.
No, I think I'm friends with all of you except for David. I don't think we're friends on Facebook yet.
We're gonna be, dude. We're gonna talk. We're gonna talk.
Absolutely, we have a lot to talk about because I have a killer toaster story that I think you're gonna love.
Now I know we've had a.
We are, aren't we?
What's that?
I said I think me and Russell's friends on Facebook. I think.
I don't know if we are or not, but I'll definitely look and I'll add you if we're not.
Yeah, definitely.
I will. Who the hell he is?
I know we've had a pretty decent group in here in the audience tonight too. So I thank everybody who was here and who is still here. Trevor Grace was in here. Giovanni's been in here.
Yeah.
Larry was in here earlier, along with someone else is in here too. And I can't remember who now.
Yeah,
I apologize.
It was me on my wife's phone.
Shout out to anonymous viewer, and shout out to all the viewers who are watching this after we go live.
Yes.
You,
definitely.
I'm talking to you, viewer, who are watching, who made it 2 hours and 18 minutes and 9 seconds into this video. This is for you.
Well, I mean, truth be told, I am actually thinking about doing an online con thing, but doing it with strictly panels. I'm not going to do vendors and everything. Just do panels and come up here with some actual things that we can actually talk about in each panel, have the particular people that are in there that have a little more knowledge in that, bounce around some ideas, have some fun, get some knowledge out there, and have some people involved. It's not a matter of bringing people in to just specifically say, hey, I need your money. There's a lot of people doing that right now, and I understand people are hurting. I mean, hell, I'm one of them as well, and I'm doing what I can to go ahead and get through this, and so is everyone else. But it doesn't mean that we just need to push and push and push on that. So I'm thinking about just doing something like a 1 day, 4 to 5 hours of nothing but, just a few panels on there and seeing who's, being involved in that. I think it'd be fun.
That sounds fun. That'd be a blast.
I honestly thought you were going to say I'm doing a con pantsless.
Well, you never know.
Hey, we are doing pantsless because we're all at home. So, I mean, who does that? We're not wearing pants right now.
Pants on? Damn.
Yeah, like
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Thank God I don't have a full body cam going. You know, we would have gotten shut down within the first 30 seconds.
Well, you did mention Jergen, so no.
Hey,
Hey, there's nothing wrong with being pantsless at home. I mean, you got to have proper ventilation. I mean,
oh man,
you generate this much awesomeness in one show, you just got to ventilate. That's all there is to it.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say good night to the audience and everything's on here. If y'all want to stay on here in the green room afterwards, you're more than welcome to. But I'm going to go ahead and shut it down, and we'll call it a night for this one. Thank y'all very much for being here. Thank you, everyone, for the audience. And, hey, we're doing this every week, Saturdays at 11 p.m. EST, so you never know who's going to be up here.
Next week, episode fucking 3, motherfuckers!
Yes, it
Let's
is.
see if we can top the startup with shoving bottles up the pantsless girl's butt and everything else in episode 3.
Later, y'all.
Guys, we'll see you. Bye, Phil.